to be able to give their responses. So a warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you are joining us. These are the proceedings of the Senate, and as I had indicated to you, being a Wednesday morning, is that the House is set to host the Cabinet Secretary. In the order of business, only one Cabinet Secretary. This is the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Alfred Mutua, has been invited to appear before the Senate plenary sitting this morning to be able to respond to matters of concern. These are issues that could be concerning county, inter-county, national, regional, and even international concerns. And in this particular sitting, the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection shall be responding to 3 questions from 3 members of the Senate. And just to notice that these questions are normally forwarded to the ministries prior the Cabinet Secretary's appearance before the Senate chamber, so that the ministry can have ample time to be able to prepare a comprehensive response, whether there are any whether there is any information on data that perhaps the ministry would want to do some research on, or any concerns or any information that may require ample time for the ministry to be able to offer a comprehensive and satisfactory response to these questions that have been forwarded or asked by the members of the Senate. However, right at the far end of the red carpet aisle, we can see the procession of the Speaker has already begun making its way into the House. Such a beautiful view. That is the mess that is right ahead of the Speaker, a symbol of authority of the House and also of the Speaker. That is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi. He will be this morning presiding over this morning sitting. You will now allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast that is brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. My name is Kamche Menza. Good morning.
Na tuombe. Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes. Well.
So the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch. This is at the commencement of the sitting of the Senate, and the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes, of course, as provided for in the House Standing Order number 40, just to give room to the members of the Senate to make their way into the chamber, and also, most importantly, enable the House attain that much-needed quorum for it to be able to commence. And as we wait for that, we shall be taking a look at the priority business this Wednesday morning. And being a Wednesday morning, as provided for in the House Standing Orders, is that the Senate shall be hosting Cabinet Secretaries, and this morning the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Mutua, has been invited, has already confirmed his attendance and is already within the precincts of Parliament. Once the House corrects, the Cabinet Secretary shall be ushered into the House, and the members who have questions shall be given a chance to ask the question. Let's take a look at some of the concerns that members of the Senate are seeking responses to regarding matters of the nation. So this question coming from the Senator for Makueni County, Honorable Daniel Manzo, regards the government projects, major government projects in the country. One of the project is the Talanta Stadium construction in Nairobi City County. And one of the questions regards a Kenyan by the name Sami Chengo, who is said to have been found dead at the Talanta Stadium construction site in Nairobi. And the member of the Senate will want to understand whether the Cabinet Secretary, or want the Cabinet Secretary to confirm whether this individual was formally registered as a worker under the contractor, as well as whether his terms of employment complied with existing labor laws. The Senator will also want the Cabinet Secretary to provide information on whether any complaints or reports had been made regarding delayed or unpaid wages for workers at the Talanta Stadium project, and how such complaints are addressed by the ministry. On the same breath, the Cabinet Secretary will also be responding to whether there are any measures the ministry is implementing to ensure that all contractors and subcontractors involved in major government projects adhere to occupational health and safety standards to protect workers from avoidable risks. And the last question that the Senator will also want to understand from the Cabinet Secretary is whether the Cabinet Secretary could outline the mechanisms available to provide compensation or other forms of support to the family of the deceased worker and any other persons in similar cases. So this is one question. Remember, once this question has been asked by the Senator, that is Honorable Daniel Maanzo, and a response is given, members of the Senate shall also have an opportunity to follow up, to do follow-up questions, as are called supplementary questions that, of course, are aligned to this particular primary questions. So this is a question that once the Cabinet Secretary for Labour and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Mutua, is ushered into the chamber, will be responding to. The second question this morning is from the nominated Senator, Honorable Catherine Muma. This question revolves around data on the prevalence of hearing loss in Kenya, disaggregated by age group and gender. And also, the Senator will also want to understand the number of affected persons who are currently receiving hearing rehabilitation services in public health facilities across the county. Remember, this data that the Senator is seeking to get from the Cabinet Secretary or from the ministry is per county. Also, the Cabinet Secretary will be required to explain or outline any long-term strategies that are in place to enhance affordable access to assistive devices, including hearing aids to persons living with hearing loss. This is a question that will be coming from the nominated Senator, Honorable Catherine Muma. Remember, the House is about to commence. There is a quorum hitch, and the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung. We have seen members making their way into the chamber. As provided for in the House Standing Order number 39 is that at the commencement of a sitting of the Senate, the quorum of the House shall be 15. And at the time the prayer is said and the chair taken, if that quorum is not present, then that quorum bell shall be rung. That is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 40. This is at least to give room to the members of the Senate who perhaps could be running late. We can see the Senator for Mombasa County, Honorable Mohamed Faki, making his way into the chamber. Once that quorum is attained, then the business of the day, or the sitting of the Senate, shall commence, and the business that is lined up for consideration shall commence or kick off. However, being a Wednesday morning, and we can already see the stand where the cabinet secretaries, once they are ushered into the chamber and ready to respond to the questions, take their position. So clearly that means we have a cabinet secretary who has confirmed his appearance before the Senate this morning. And that is the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Mutua. We understand that he is already within the precincts of Parliament. And of course, once the House quarrels, then the CS shall be ushered into the chamber. 3 questions have been, or rather were forwarded to the ministry on various matters. However, once these questions are asked by the senators, then being primary questions, then the other senators also will have a chance to also ask supplementary questions, of course, ones that are aligned to the primary question. The 3rd question will be coming from the nominated Senator, Honorable Joyce Korir, and the senator will be seeking to understand from the CS on matters of data. The senator will want the cabinet secretary to provide comprehensive data on beneficiaries of government social protection programs, disaggregated by program, category of vulnerability, and county. Also, the CS will provide the current social protection register that is updated, and also provide any mechanisms that are in place, or explain what mechanisms that are in place to ensure its regular review, accuracy, and integrity. On the same breath, the senator would want the cabinet secretary to indicate the total funds disbursed under the various social protection programs in the last 3 years, and also clarify whether there are any policy measures in place to review and enhance these allocations, considering the rising cost of living. The 10-minute quorum bell has lapsed. We should be hearing from the speaker. Let's listen in.
Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the bell for another 10 minutes.
So the speaker has directed for a further 10-minute quorum bell to be on. The first 10-minute quorum bell has lapsed, and currently is a second round of the 10-minute quorum bell, of course, as provided for in the House Standing Order number 40. If no quorum is present at the expiration of the 10 minutes, the Speaker may direct that the bell be rung for a further 10 minutes. And if there is still no quorum present, the Speaker shall adjourn the Senate forthwith to the next sitting. So this is the rules of the House. So currently is the 10-minute second round of the 10-minute quorum bell, but we shall continue to take a look at the business that the members of the Senate shall be transacting once the House commences this morning. Earlier on, I had indicated to you, being a Wednesday morning, is that the Senate invited the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Mutua, who is already within the precincts of Parliament and just waiting to be ushered into the chamber for him to give responses to the concerns that the Senate had forwarded to the ministry. Remember, these questions from the senator could be on matters of county, inter-county, national, regional, and even international concern. And there are questions that are forwarded to the ministry much earlier, before the very day that the Cabinet Secretary makes their way into the House, of course, to be able to prepare a comprehensive response. But that does not mean that senators cannot probe more on those particular questions. Once the responses have been given to, the senators also have a chance to do follow-up questions on these concerns that their fellow senators may have forwarded or may have sought for responses on. So this morning there are three questions that the Cabinet Secretary shall be responding to. One regarding a case of a Kenyan worker at the Talanta Stadium construction site, whereby this morning the Senate would want to understand whether this individual, Mr. Sami Ichengo, who was found dead at the Talanta Stadium construction site in Nairobi City, was formally registered as a worker under the contractor, and whether his terms of employment complied with existing labor laws. Also, on the same, on that particular question, under that particular question is an explanation the Senate will be seeking to understand regarding contractors and subcontractors being involved in major government projects, whether they are adhering to occupational health and safety standards to protect workers from avoidable risks. And also, this morning there is a question regarding data. The Senate would want to understand the data per county on the prevalence of hearing loss in Kenya, disaggregated by age group and gender, and also the number of affected persons who are currently receiving hearing rehabilitation services in public health facilities across the country. This particular data is per county. And the other question is also regarding data. The CS will be required to provide comprehensive data on beneficiaries of government social protection programs. This is as disaggregated by program, category of vulnerability and county. So this is a sitting of the Senate that the senators will be engaging the Cabinet Secretaries. That is, if that quorum is attained. Remember, the provisions of the standing orders indicate that at least 15 senators, that is the Honorable Senator for Uasin Gishu County, Honorable Jackson Mandago, who is also making his way into the House. That quorum bell is particularly to alert the members of the Senate that there is a quorum hitch in the House, and that the presence is highly required. I can see the Senator for Embu, Honorable Mundigi, is trying to count the numbers of the members in the chamber just to find out on how many perhaps are remaining, or what the number in the House is, if they have quorated. On the question by nominated Senator Honorable Joyce Korir regarding the comprehensive data on beneficiaries of government social protection programs, the Senator would also want to understand, or would want the Cabinet Secretary to provide the total funds disbursed under the various social protection programs in the last 3 years, and clarify whether there are any policy measures in place to review and enhance those allocations, considering the rising cost of living. So these are 3 questions, but of course there will be follow-up questions, that is if the House corrects and the business of the day or the sitting manages to kick off. But that is not the only business that the Senate has scheduled to transact this morning. Once the question time is over, and there is still more time for this particular morning sitting, or within this particular morning sitting, then there are other priority business that the Senate shall be picking up on or continuing on. Some of the priority business, or most of the priority businesses that have been lined up for consideration this morning, are motions. There is a motion by the Honorable Senator for Busia County, Senator Andrew Omtata Okowit, and this motion regards the provision of IFMIS reports for county governments to the Senate. The reports that the senators will want to have an earlier interaction with before the Auditor General, or Office of the Auditor General, Controller of Budget, provide these reports to the Senate to be able to consider them. This particular motion seeks to ensure that the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury provides these reports on a monthly basis to enable the senators have a timely tracking of the financial spending or usage of the funds to the Senate or to the county governments. The quorum, I believe, is about to be attained. Remember, the quorum at the commencement of the sitting of the Senate is 15. So we are still waiting for that quorum to be attained. But of course, once the quorum is raised, then the business that is scheduled for transaction this morning shall be able to take place. And the members of the Senate shall begin with interacting with the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Mutua, being a Wednesday morning where the question time has been allocated or slotted. The 10-minute quorum bell has also lapsed. We should be hearing from the Speaker on whether that quorum has been attained.
Take a seat, Honorable Senators. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Senators, we have 3 questions that are directed to the CS in charge of Labor and Social Protection. I'm informed that the Honorable CS is present. I'll therefore ask the clerk to usher in the Honorable CS. Honorable CS, welcome back to the Senate. You are here today to respond to 3 questions. One by the Senator from Makueni County, the Honorable Daniel Manzo. The second is by Senator Catherine Muma. And the third is by Senator Joyce Korir. We will start with question number 019 by the Senator from Makueni County. Honorable Manzo, you may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, question number 019. Could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether Mr. Sami Chengo, who was found dead at the Talanda Stadium construction site in Nairobi City, County, was formally registered as a worker under the contractor, and whether his terms of employment complied with existing labor laws? B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide information on whether any complaints or reports had been made regarding delayed or unpaid wages for the workers at the Talanda Stadium project, and how such complaints were addressed by the ministry? C, what measures is the ministry implementing to ensure that all contractors and subcontractors involved in the major government projects adhere to the occupational health and safety standards to protect workers from avoidable risks? D, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the mechanisms available to provide compensation or other forms of support to the family of the deceased worker and any other person in similar cases? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members. Just as a matter of background, the Talanta Stadium project is a flagship national infrastructure initiative that commenced in 2024. It's being undertaken by a company called China Road and Bridge Corporation, which is an international engineering construction company with massive experience in many projects. At the time of the incident, Mr. Speaker, sir, the project had engaged a workforce of 1,000 employees across various categories, including skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled labor. To answer this very good question from Honorable Manzo, the ministry, through its field officers, who are mandated by Section 35 of the Labor Institutions Act to carry out workplace inspections, did inspect employment records pertaining to the said deceased worker. It was established that the late Mr. Sami Chengo was formally engaged by the contractor through an employment contract. As per the employment contract, therefore, the deceased worker was a valid employee of the contractor at the time of the unfortunate incident. Even though the employee had a valid employment contract, inspection revealed that certain terms of employment contained in the contract were not compliant with the provisions of the Employment Act Cap 226 and the regulation of wages, that is building and construction industry order. Specifically, the deficiencies noted relate to working wages and rest days. Mr. Speaker, on the 15th of December 2025, the contractor was issued with compliance directives to address all the deficiencies noted, including calculation and payment of all underpayment arrears due to the deceased and all other employees engaged by the contractor. This is in Appendix 1, and I refer members to look at Appendix 1. It is a letter from my office through the External Labour Commissioner requesting, informing this company of the breach. On January 15, 2016, the 2026 this year, the ministry noted that the contractor had not complied with the compliance directives issued, and therefore the contractor was issued with a notice of intended prosecution for failure to rectify the anomalies noted and refusal to pay the deceased worker and all other workers under payment arrears as directed by the County Labour Office. And this is also in a letter attached as Appendix 2, and members can go through it, also from my office. The ministry is currently preparing the case file for referral to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to prosecute and enforce the law, including the recovery of arrears owed. And that we expect that file to be in the DPP's office latest Monday next week. Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I'll move on to the second question about whether there have been any other complaints. The ministry has not received any complaints or reports regarding delayed or unpaid wages affecting workers engaged at the Talanta Stadium project. The ministry has mechanisms for receiving and addressing complaints or reports related to delayed or unpaid salaries, wages as guided by the Employment Act Cap 226 and the Labour Institutions Act 234 and also the Labour Relations Act Cap 233. The ministry has field officers in all 47 counties with the labour officers ready to receive and address such reports and complaints. And that's just to pause here, just to let Wananchi know that we don't practice slavery in this country. If you're employed, you should be paid. And if anybody is not paying you your wages, or the wages are delayed and they have not given you a schedule of how they are going to pay those wages in case of any financial difficulties, you have a right to report to any of the labor offices, and I've mandated my officers to take action immediately. We can't have people working and they're not being paid. We don't practice slave labor in this country. Specifically, given that Nairobi experiences a significantly high volume of economic and labor-related activities, the ministry has 2 field offices situated at Nyayo House and Safety House in industrial area within the county to enhance services delivery, strengthen oversight, and effectively manage workload. And if you are out there and you don't know where the labor office is, you just need to visit the office of the county commissioner or any of the national government offices, and you'll be directed to that office. Mr. Speaker, just to explain how it works, upon receipt of the complaints or reports, the ministry properly addresses the concerns raised by. We always deploy labor officers to conduct workplace inspections and engage the employers mentioned. The inspection involves examination of employment records, including payrolls, contracts of service and statutory remittance records, and interviews with the workers to get their insights on the terms and conditions of employment and issuance of improvement notices to the employers. Institution of legal action in case of non-compliance in line with Section 87 of the Employment Act and in conjunction with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. C, facilitation of conciliation meetings between workers and employers where necessary to amicably resolve disputes that arise. And C, desensibilization of employers and employees on their rights and obligations to increase awareness and ensure compliance. The ministry remains committed to safeguarding workers' rights and encourages affected workers to report their grievances through the labor officers near them etc. The last question, Mr. Speaker, sir, on what we are doing to ensure that subcontractors and subcontractors involved in major government projects adhere to occupational health and safety standards. The ministry has put in place measures to ensure that all contractors and subcontractors engaged in major government projects adhere strictly to occupational safety and health standards, therefore safeguarding workers from avoidable risks. Let me pause here, Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission to say that this is not only applicable to government projects. I have directed my Department of Occupation Safety and Health Act to inspect all projects in the country, whether private or government, to ensure that the minimum standards are put in place. I presented a cabinet brief and a cabinet memo that was approved by cabinet to strengthen and ensure there is compliance to occupation and health standards by government and the private sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, it should be noted that enforcement is firmly grounded in the provisions of the Occupation Safety and Health Act 2007, Work Injury Benefit Act of the same year, laws which are enforced by the Directorate of Occupational Health and Safety Services within the ministry. These laws impose clear obligations on all employers, including contractors and subcontractors, to provide safe working environments. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry, through the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services, has established a dedicated construction safety division that focuses specifically on the construction sector. Officers from the division are employed to major projects to ensure continuous monitoring and compliance. DOSH also maintains a nationwide presence across all the 47 counties. Lastly, in addition, all construction sites are required to undergo mandatory registration before commencement of operations. This process ensures that contractors and subcontractors are formally brought within the regulatory framework and are fully aware of the statutory obligations on safety and health. And just to point out, Mr. Speaker, we've been shutting down and stopping construction activities that have not registered with us, that are just happening without our knowledge. D, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of mechanisms to provide compensation, the government has established clear mechanisms to provide compensation and support to workers who suffer injuries in the course of the employment and to their dependents, for workers who suffer fatal injuries in the course of employment. Under the Work Injuries Benefit Act 2007, employees or their dependents are entitled to compensation in cases of work-related injuries, occupational diseases, or death. Employers are required by law to report all workplace accidents, including fatalities, to the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. Upon this notification, the Directorate undertakes an assessment of the incident and determines the appropriate compensation payable. Therefore, thereafter, the Director issues a compensation award which is paid to the dependents of the deceased worker in accordance to the law. With respect to the specific case raised by Honorable Manzo concerning the Atalanta Stadium project, the employer duly reported the fatality on 13 September 2025 as per the legal requirement, and the compensation process for the dependents of the deceased worker will be processed subject to the conclusion of the police investigations into the cause of death. The ministry remains committed to strengthening enforcement, enhancing workplace safety, and ensuring that all workers are protected and that affected families receive the support due to them under the law. I submit, Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Senator Manzo, do you have any supplementary question?
Yes,
You may
Mr.
proceed.
Speaker, owing to the case of Mr. Sami Chengo, Mr. Speaker, who comes from Makueni County, and also, Mr. Speaker, recently under the construction at Bomas of Kenya, a worker fell off, died, resulting to the workers crossing the Langata Road across and causing a crisis. Because they said every time these injuries happen, Mr. Speaker, the government seems to be doing very little. In the case of Mr. Chengo, could the Cabinet Secretary then give us an update as to whether that process he has given under D has been compensated and how much money has been given to the family of Mr. Chengo? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Mr. Speaker, I did not get the first part of Honorable Chengo's, Honorable Manzo's question about the Bomas of Kenya. Somebody was crossing the road and was There was a traffic incident.
No, Mr. Speaker, if I may clarify,
My
a
apologies.
worker, in that construction going on there recently, fell off from the construction site and died. And therefore, about 1,000 workers who are working there left the construction site because the complaint was every time there is an injury, very little is being done by the government, and they blocked the road almost a whole day, and a solution was later on reached in the evening. I've just indicated what is happening in the government construction sites and among other sites, but specifically in Mr. Chengo's case, now that under your D, you have said that you have a process which ensures that calculations are done. How much then has been paid or is due to be paid from your department or from the contractor under your supervision to Mr. Chengo's family? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for clarification, Mr. Speaker. With your permission, the incident of Bobs of Kenya was reported and it's under investigation. And if it pleases this House, I can bring a report about that incident also, because it's a different incident than this one. Unfortunate. On the issues of Bonachengo, I don't have the excuse me. I don't have the figures of how much we have put down for him to be compensated, but I can avail those to the honourable member in the House. But he has not yet been compensated because we are following up with the employer. As you can see, there's an attached letter. But I'm going to ensure that within a very short time, this is done, Mr. Speaker. I can issue a report back to this House within 1 month on the amounts and whether he's been paid or not, and the enforcement mechanism. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm really shocked to looking at the response from the CS. It is his evidence that this contractor, which is China Roads and Bridge Corporation, was given a notice. And that notice is on the issue of deficiency noted on working hours, wages, and rest days. And 6 months later, he was given another letter to show cause. And on 15th January 2026, they had intent to prosecute that contractor. And we are in July now. What is the minister doing? Because it has taken over 2 years or 1.5 years and no action has been taken. And today, he is before this House telling us stories. And on Monday, he's going to do the prosecutions or to recommend prosecutions. This is a joke. Please, Honorable Speaker, let him specify all those years, all those months, what was going on. I think this contractor he's doing most of the job now. He's doing Rironi Road, he's doing Bomas, he's the one doing Talanta Stadium, he's going to do even the airport. Why is he special? Why is he treating Kenyans like slaves?
What is your question?
The question is, why did it take this long to prosecute this person, this contractor? That's my question.
Senator Wambua.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Chute has taken words from my mouth, but I will just say this. Justice delayed is justice denied. 2 years down the line, this matter of the Chengo has not been addressed, and the ministry has identified a breach. They have even made an intention to pursue the matter in court. But that's where it ends. The Speaker, the question that I have is, how much longer is the ministry going to take before they can take this matter to court and for justice to be served? I thank you.
Senator Mandagu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It's related to what my colleagues have asked, but I want to be very specific to the CS. You have been preparing this file to take to the Office of the Director of Prosecution. When exactly are you taking the file? And I think, Honorable Speaker, let me make a commitment and a date the file will be submitted to DPP.
Honorable CS, you may, just before you respond, Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to ask the CS a question. Mr. CS, we've heard these incidences and accidents happening very often, especially in construction side. I was thinking that you would maybe take a minute to explain to the House the enforcement that you're putting in place, especially in the preventive measures, like wearing of the light clothing and ensuring that the workers who go to site are equipped should an accident happen, that they will not suffer severe injuries. Thank you.
Senator Sigei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to get from the Honorable CS whether he's got statistics of such high-level construction sites on the incidences that have occurred. We have just been given by Senator Manzo only 2 incidences, noting that we have the same contractor with the number of projects across, whether he has the statistics of such incidences as a ministry for purposes of following through the recommendations that they would make with such contractors on how they treat their workers.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the members for their very, very good questions. Just to point out that it's not been 2 years, just for clarity. The accident happened in December last year. It's been about 7 months. It's not 2 years since this accident happened, so we've been on top of things. The delay has been occasioned because whenever a death happens, it is not just a civil issue, it is a criminal issue. And so we've been working with the DCI to prepare a file so that this file can be used as part of the criminal part, because somebody died, so somebody was responsible for that death. That is why it has taken some time, but I have looked at the records, and as I said earlier on, Mr. Speaker, the file will be at DPP's office on Monday, and I'm going to push to ensure that the prosecution is done. So it's a very, very good question for the 2 honorable members. There's a very good question about enforcement being put into place to ensure that these things do not happen. As I pointed out just in cabinet, I presented a cabinet paper to strengthen the work of the Occupational and Health Hazards Department. And I'm giving notice to construction companies all over this country that just like they do in other countries, you go to Europe, you go to Australia, you go to South America, North America, you find that it's very clear. Construction sites have toilets, they have rest areas, they have clinics, they have things that cover the occupational health of individuals. And I have commissioned my team, and I was talking to them just last week, to go around the country investigating and raiding construction sites and shutting them down. Just for information, we just stopped a government project that was going on somewhere in northern Kenya as a result of them not complying to these services. So we are going to improve these services. We have now just empowered the ministry to be able to carry this out. On the other issue about statistics, the good questions, I will be able to provide those statistics, Mr. Speaker, sir, with the indulgence. My team will prepare them this week, and I can provide them also next week around the same time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now we'll move to question number 038 by Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to ask this question. Karibu sana. Welcome, Cabinet Secretary for Labor. My question is this. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide per county data on the prevalence of hearing loss in Kenya, disaggregated by age, group, and gender, and disclose the number of affected persons who are currently receiving hearing rehabilitation services in public health facilities across the country? B, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the long-term strategies in place to enhance affordable access to assistive devices, including hearing aids, to persons living with hearing loss?
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Senator Catherine Muma, for this very, very, very good question. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics data from the 2019 census, we had 153,381 persons identified as deaf or having significant hearing difficulty in Kenya, that is from the age of 5 years and above. The 2019 census captured functional hearing difficulties, that is difficulty in performing tasks, rather than just clinical diagnosis. As a result, these numbers reflect self-reported challenges in hearing rather than clinical registry of hearing loss prevalence. Regarding the number of affected persons who are currently receiving hearing rehabilitation services in the public health facilities across the country, I would like to clarify that this information falls primarily under the mandate of the Ministry of Health. But as one government, we wrote to the Ministry of Health, and as you can imagine, there are so many health facilities, to the clinic, to the dispensary. So the data is being compiled. It will take some time for it to be compiled by the Ministry of Health. We are waiting to receive that data because people go and say they have a hearing problem, but that does not mean that they are deaf. They may have a hearing problem maybe because they have a flu or they caught an infection, which after it clears, the hearing problem ceases to be. So for them to really to be said to be deaf or hard of hearing, it has to undergo a full clinical process. I would like to clarify that this information, I've already said, as the lead agency for ear and hearing care, EHC in Kenya, the Ministry of Health maintains the clinical data, diagnostic registries and records of patients receiving rehabilitative treatment within public health facilities. So when we get that information from the ministry, we'll bring it here. If the ministry is not able to provide that answer, I would also request this House, with your powers, to also request the Ministry of Health to provide such data so that we can have that information clearly for the country as requested by Senator Catherine Muma. On the second question about long-term strategies, the Ministry through the National Council for Persons with Disabilities has developed a number of strategies to enhance affordable access to assistive devices and technologies as follows. We have created a partnership, and let me say, first of all, the ministry has been very heavily underfunded. I was with my PS here, Bwana Motari, very, very good principal secretary, and we've been talking about the things we'd like to do, especially for people who are disabled, but the cash is not there. The money is always underfunded. We have created partnerships with key stakeholders and players in assistive technologies to provide assistive devices. These include APDK, Hope Mobility Kenya, and Bethany Kids, and at AT scale. We have developed a catalog of assistive devices to be tax exempt during importation, hence reducing their cost. And we are lobbying for the inclusion of more assistive devices and technologies in the list of items to be covered by the social health insurance. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Catherine Muma, do you have any supplementary question?
Yes, Your
You may
Honorable
proceed.
Speaker.
You may proceed.
Honorable Speaker and Senators, the response by the CS exposes clearly the fact that the government is not working as one. Honorable Speaker, I'm disappointed that the CS in charge of taking care of needs of persons with disability does not have data in respect of a category of persons with disability. In fact, he's throwing away and saying that the responsibility belongs to the Ministry of Health and telling us that he has asked the Ministry of Health to give him this data, and if the Ministry of Health does not give that data, that we as Senate should assist him to get that data. A very clear show that Article 10 in respect of including persons with hearing disabilities is not being implemented in this ministry. And that calls to question, what tools, CS, do you have to actually assist you to plan for categories of interest groups that you're in charge of? Clearly, from that answer, you don't seem to have any such tools. In the second one, the CS has given a vague answer about not having adequate budget and trying to partner with key players whom he does not mention and again showing clearly that the government of Kenya, as the primary duty bearer to these persons with a disability, is clearly not recognizing this role. So I would want to know, who is it, Honorable CS, do you hope will create a budget and where, in order for the needs of persons with hearing disabilities to be included as equal Kenyans, requiring to access services, whether of SHA or of these devices, as other Kenyans, as obligated under Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya?
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. CS, according to the World Health Organization, 40% of hearing loss is preventable with early detection. What specific programs is the government implementing to help these people so that we can save the 40%? Thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, the hearings problem in Kenya is caused from work sites, either construction sites or construction of dams where they do blasting, like it happened in Twake Dam, or, Mr. Speaker, accidentally when a rocket ring fell in Makueni, Mbooni constituency, and it caused a huge bang, Mr. Speaker, whereby out of that, which is also a part of the government to follow up, hearing problems ensued. So I want to ask specifically in relation to labor and construction sites, and also in the matatu sector, you know, those who work in loud places. What are they doing as a ministry under the labor sector to make sure that they have that data and they prevent these people from stopping, you know, from having permanent disability of hearing? Because I believe that should be his work and his ministry. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chuta.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to refer the CS. Yes, I agree with him. These issues are mainly on health issues. But then there is an answer he has given on question B of Senator Muma, Roman 2. The CS talked about lobbying or requesting for tax exemption during importation. And those are the things that are creating a lot of problems for people with disability. And I wanted to ask the CS if he has requested for it, if he has any evidence, whether in written form or any correspondence, and then has the exemption been accepted? If he has communicated, if he has evidence, and if he has, through asking for exemption, if it has been accepted and has been agreed by KRA. Thank you very much.
Senator Wambua.
Mr. Speaker, my question stems from the frustration expressed by Senator Muma on the manner in which this response has come to us. And mine will just be a very simple and direct question. Does the CS and officers in his ministry appreciate hearing challenges as an aspect of social protection that should deserve the attention of the ministry? Or is it their position that this is a matter that concerns the Ministry of Health, and then for us to ask them questions about hearing disability, we are kind of asking them things that they don't appreciate to be part of what they should be doing?
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much. Yes. Whereas I agree that largely the matter of hearing impairment is an health issue, I'd like to ask the CS, because we know deafness sometimes is as a result of excessive noise. And we've seen in construction sites, particularly those undertaken by large Chinese companies, that the Chinese workers have noise reduction devices in their ears, but the Kenyans who work for them are exposed to high noise pollution. What is the ministry doing to ensure that workers in a place with very high volume of noise have noise reduction equipment, and there is no discrimination in the provision of the devices, regardless of nationality, race, or color.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is, according to the census 2019, there is 153, 381 person on deaf. But my question is, does it mean 7 years later, there is no other registration of the affected people? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'd like to say that the government, yes, works as one, and we get data. It is very dangerous to provide data that is not verified. That is why I pointed out that we have written to the Ministry of Health to give us that information. It is also important to say that the census that was done then, to answer the last question, the first question, was captured by the National Bureau of Statistics. However, the Ministry of Health has kept the data of people who go to hospital. However, for you to be said to be deaf, you have to be clinically found to be deaf, and the numbers keep on changing every day because they report to us, we will go back to the ministry, it is verified coming to us, but I can also provide this Honorable House with the latest statistics once we get the information from the Ministry of Health, as I've said, by mid next week. In terms of the issue of the budget, and yes, we've been lobbying. My ministry is one of the most underfunded ministries, labor, social protection. And unfortunately, for example, this year we put in a line item, we put in some money for disability and others to do some of these works, and it was not included in the budget because, as you know, the basket is, the many needs in this country. So we are still lobbying. It's a lobbying issue, and we're able to get it. The good news is that any person who is disabled in this country, you get free treatment through SHA. All manner of, you can go to SHA, you can be hospitalized. It's 100% treatment through SHA. There is a question about, there was a very good question about children and early detection. And yes, when you get early detection, of these kids, it's done below the age of 5. As you know, treatment below the age of 5 is there. Once it is detected, you're put on a treatment module and you're able to be guided. This government has enforced the CHVs, community health workers, and one of their mandates that we have given them as part of their routine as they go door to door is to report to us any forms of disability or illnesses that may progress with time, especially of small children. So we are able now to get that data and arrest that early enough. Mr. Speaker, sir, there was a question about heavy noise from construction sites, and quite interesting to see that a rocket fell in Makueni and had a big bang. And I'm not sure scientifically whether the falling of the rocket caused any hearing problems that were long-term. I think people got shocked and troubled. I have relatives down there. But the main issue, I think the honorable member is saying, is that it is important for us as a country to realize that noise, heavy noise, whether in matatus, whether in construction sites, whether in noises in churches, in bars, in discos, that noise has an effect on the lifestyle and the long-term, can have a long-term impact on the lives of people. So this is, I'm going to ensure that my occupational health standards, I'm going to publish few guidelines very soon on what we expect in terms of decibels. The county governments are mandated to ensure that noise protection and ANEMA and everything, but we're going to look at it from a medical and good working construction. There is a point that was brought about some of these contractors, I think it was Mheshimiwa Mandago, about them having hearing that some of the contractors have protective gear for their ears, but their workers do not. So that's something that I will investigate. I'll put it down as part of the checklist of my teams as they go round. There was a question about hearing aids, and I just want to say that we lobbied. Maybe my answer was not very clear. We were able to lobby, and as a result now, people who are bringing hearing aids, or you want to bring hearing aids, you write to my ministry and we give you a waiver, and so you don't pay any taxes. That lowers the price. So that's already in place. My principal secretary, I gave him permission to do that, and he's doing that every day. He's approving because we care. And just wanted to say that I think my answer is very clear, that we are going out of our way to ensure that we show that we care. I think we can do much more, and I'm going to streamline the system to ensure that we are doing much more. But I'm looking at coming back here. You can invite me anytime to provide the new data and some of the things that we are doing. So do not be challenged, do not be shocked if you see me walking around and shutting down some construction sites, or shutting down or stopping people who have excessive noise or behaving in a manner that is not properly, especially for our disabled. The law is very clear. We have passed a Disability Act. If you have a building, for example, that building needs to be compliant. You need to have ramps, you need to have lifts that once a blind person is able to touch the handles, the buttons, they can read, as they do in other countries, that is floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, do not be surprised if some of the Senate buildings are shut down because they have not complied. So we are going to enforce this to ensure that all government agencies, whether national government, whether it's a judiciary, whether it's here, are complying with the law as an indicator that we are not taking this lying down, that this is very important for our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Sifuna. Senator Okech.
Mr. Speaker, this is just a quick follow-up, and thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Speaker. I just want to establish, Mr. Speaker, how true is it that the disabled are getting free treatment with the SHA? And Mr. Speaker, I think because this is a house of the people and a house of record, I would wish that perhaps the CS gets us this indication, maybe from the CEO of SHA, in writing, because the CS has just indicated here that all disabled people in the country, it doesn't matter which kind of disability you have, you actually get treatment for free through SHA. Mr. Speaker, I really want to be able to establish that fact, and if possible, indicated in writing, and if maybe we can get a further clarity from perhaps the CEO of SHA, because I know of a myriad of disabled people in Migori who cannot be able to get any medical treatment whatsoever if they don't contribute, or otherwise they just don't have money. So that fact must be established, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, the question that I wanted to ask is the same question that has been asked by my colleague, but just for clarity purposes. Does disability in itself guarantee free SHA medical treatment, or is it a case of severe disability where some Kenyans might be able to get benefit with some programs with the county governments or national government? So it will be important for the Cabinet Secretary to distinguish that, because people who are disabled will now be flocking hospitals, and if they are sent away, they will actually start doubting the main purpose of this SHA. So, Mr. Speaker, if the Cabinet Secretary can clarify that, I'd appreciate it.
Senator Mudhama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mine is just a follow-up question to Mr. CS about the SHA also, but a bit different. I want to know what the CS is doing about the PWD is getting that special identification card that when they go, they just produce, especially those who cannot hear, cannot talk, because if they have that special card, identification card, they can then produce and they'll be served easily. And Mr. CS, maybe you can clarify about the SHA treatment, because there are so many of them in Machakos County who are being turned back from even government hospitals without paying SHA. And how do they get to enroll? How do the SHA people identify the PWDs so that they can be treated without paying? They have to have that special identity card. What are you doing about that to make sure that they all have it? Thank you.
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you very much. I'll just combine the questions from the honorable members. I just like to clarify that last year, my ministry paid 4.4 billion shillings to SHA for severe disability, so that people who are severely disabled do not have to pay anything. There are other people who are disabled. For example, you may be recognized you are disabled because you lost one eye, or you hurt your knee, but you're still working. You're able to work, or you're able to serve. You're working now. Those ones are able to pay for themselves, because we can't just pay for everybody who is just clarified as disabled. But the ones who are really in need, you can tell this person is severely, there are children with autism, there are people who really need that help, are covered. And thank you, Senator Okech. I will find out. Mr. Okech, you talked about Migori. My PS is from Migori, and I've been telling him he thinks too much about Migori. He's made sure he's streamlined Migori very fast. And so we'll ensure that Migori is taken care of, and so is Machakos, where I served for 2 terms. Now, in terms of the PWDs and identity cards, a very good question. The National Council of Persons with Disability issues those cards. All a person needs to do is to go, there has to be a clinical from a hospital showing that they are actually disabled. And when that report comes and it is verified, then they're able to be given that card, which they're able to use. I've been pushing for us to be able to get to a place whereby I think Olekina will understand, because having lived in the US, whereby if you are disabled or you have that special card, you don't even have to pay for some government services, or you don't even have to pay for transport in government, run institutions. So that's where we are getting to. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
We will now move to question number 054 by Honorable Senator Joyce Korir. Honorable Senator, you may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question is, could the Cabinet Secretary provide comprehensive data on beneficiaries of government social protection programs disaggregated by program, category, and vulnerability and county? B, when was the current social protection register updated, and what mechanisms are in place to ensure that the regular review, accuracy, and integrity? C, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the total funds disbursed under the various social protection programs in the last 3 years, and clarify whether there are policies, measures in place to review and enhance these allocations, considering the rising cost of living? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, thank you, Madam Senator Joyce Korir, for this very, very good question. The government, through the State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs, is implementing various social protection programs for older persons and persons with disabilities. We have, number 1, the Inua Jamii Persons Cash Transfer, which at the end of March 2026 had covered a total of 1,149,181 older persons cash transfer program beneficiaries and 63,958 persons with severe disability cash transfer programs. It's called PWSD CT. beneficiaries, bringing the total payroll number to 1.2 million beneficiaries, upward of 1.2 million beneficiaries. And this may be of great interest to members of the Senate. If you look at the appendix at the back, it outlines what your county or each county, the members that are covered by this program from each county. 2 disability inclusion programs. We have the Economic Empowerment Program. The program includes initiatives designed to support entrepreneurship, employment, and access to financial resources to persons with disabilities, such as a Startup Capital and Tools of Trade program. This provides startup capital for small businesses, tools of trade aligned with beneficial skills, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy training. So far, we have 264 beneficiaries supported in the 2 financial year with a total investment of 12.28 million. The support is based on what we have on budget. We also support groups of persons with disabilities through grants to registered groups to establish income-generating projects in sectors such as agriculture, livestock production, small-scale trade, etc. A group of 88 groups were supported with upward of 7 million shillings in the last 2 financial year. We also do LPO financing program, which supports businesses owned by persons with disability through their access to government procurement opportunities, AGPO. It provides financing to enable business owned by persons with disabilities to fulfill government supply contracts. And out of this, a total of upward of 16 million was disbursed to businesses owned by persons with disabilities. We also provide assisted devices and services to promote mobility, independence, and participation of persons with disability in education, employment, and community life. This means that we've been able to provide wheelchairs, hearing aids, white cane, prosthetics, orthotic devices to close to 5,000 beneficiaries. We also do undertake training, mobility training and oriented training with acquired disabilities, provided training on mobility and independent living, and 87 beneficiaries supported in the last 20. For example, people get diabetes and become blind. And so we're able to assist them as they orient to their new way of living. We also have the Kenya Sign Language Training Program, which is implemented with the Kenya Institute of Special Education to sponsor public officers for training in Kenya Sign Language, and we took 375 public officers in 8 regional centers in the last financial years. As you know, these are critical for communication. We also have an education scholarship, which provides scholarship across different levels, and a total of over 3,000 learners were supported last year through this scholarship program. We have an autism program which supports people with autism and related development disabilities by delivering essential therapeutic interventions. In this financial year, 10,684 have received therapy services. This is in collaboration with the Nairobi County Health Facilities, KIC, and also with KEMSA. The Council is also providing medication to over 3,000 individuals being provided medicines, and 1,182 individuals receiving other items of support, such as diapers. There was the other question of when was the current social protection register updated and the mechanism in place to ensure its regular review. The current social protection registry, the enhanced single registry, has 4.4 million households and over 16.6 million. The ESR was last fundamentally updated in 2024, but is continually updated to date on demand through on-demand update mechanisms. I'd like to point out that the President has given us a directive, and we are on the ground currently where we are undertaking a survey to be able to update this. Several institutional, technical, and operational mechanisms have been put in place to ensure ESR data remains reliable. We have designed it to collect, update, link, and ensure quality of data on vulnerable households. This is through periodic mass registration, census approach, and on-demand registration, where somebody can go and say we have a problem. I'd like to point out here, if there is somebody who is out there and is not receiving cash transfer, and they feel they are eligible to receive cash transfer, all they need to do is report to the nearest chief, and we get that information. So that's a mechanism we are using. We are able to read that data. And also to point out, Mr. Speaker, sir, that people who were working and are on pension are not seen to be vulnerable and so cannot be receiving the same amount of money. And there are some families, through our data, yes, wewe ni mzee, uko nyumbani, but you have a big farm that is giving you so many acres of maize. Or you have children who are supporting you. You know, they even bought you a nice suit to go to church with. So we are looking at people really who are downtrodden with nothing. Hawana familia kuwasaidia, hata familia yake imefilisika, Mr. Speaker, sir. They have nobody and they are really poor. Those are the ones we are targeting because the government does not have the resources to pay, because currently we are paying billions of shillings. We are transferring. This month alone, we are transferring 2.7 billion shillings. 2.7 billion shillings. And if you do the math, it's a lot of money by the end of the year. We also have data that is collected through a standardized instrument, HTT, and it promotes consistency in data collection, comparability across counties, and objective poverty and vulnerability assessment. Data collections involve centralized verification in community structures, that is, enumerators at the household level, and local administrative structures, as I said, chiefs and county officers. And we use them to verify. You know, somebody says somebody disabled, so we use that government machinery to verify. And lastly, the ESR integrates data from multiple programs, cash transfers, partners, and allows two-way data exchange with other management information systems, such as the Hunger Safety Net, Management Information, Consolidated Cash Transfer Program, Community Development Management Information, Integrated Population Research System, which enables us to update beneficiary information continuously. And the other question was to indicate the total funds disbursed under the various social protection programs in the last 3 years and clarify their policy measures put in place to increase the allocation. My response is that the annual disbursements in direct cash transfers for the Inua Jamii cash transfer program for the last 3 years of 2022-2023 up to date is as follows. 1, older persons cash transfer program was 17.83 billion the first year, 18.69 billion the next year, and 26.39 billion the last financial year, respectively, bringing the total amount disbursed to 63.92 billion shillings for the last 3 years of this Kenya Kwanza William Ruto administration. It's good for you to note that the president gave a directive that money is transferred for Inua Jamii and the disabled before salaries of government workers in the executive are paid. So, and that is to date. The president is paid last in this country after all the other payments have been done. We have personal disability cash transfer programs was 908 million, 1.02 billion, and 1.36 billion respectively. The Social Protection Act 2025 provides legal authority for reviewing and adjusting benefits under 2 key provisions. One is a review on benefits, allowing the Social Protection Board to review the nature and extent of benefits where a beneficiary situation changes. This will be triggered where there is evidence of change in socio-economic conditions, improvement, or even going down. And even in Section 939 on its indexation of benefits provided, the board may, in consultation with the National Treasury, periodically review the social assistance benefits to accommodate changes in real value. For example, now we are giving, is it 2,000 per individual? We are waiting to look at the economic trend, the amount of money, to see whether that money can increase depending on inflation and what there is in the country. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the Social Protection Act therefore leaves the determination of the specific transfer amount to the budgetary process, which have continued to prioritize horizontal expansion, increasing the number of beneficiaries, over vertical expansion, that is increasing the amount per beneficiary. I humbly submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Joyce Correa, do you have any supplementary question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I must thank the CS, but I would really want to know when is this increment going to be made, bearing in mind the cost of living is risen up. But finally, Honorable Speaker, allow me to ask the Honorable CS Could the Cabinet Secretary indicate whether there are long-term financing strategies to sustain and expand social protection program beyond annual budgetary allocations? I don't know if you will allow me to ask the last question or...
Yeah.
And maybe the last question is, the Cabinet Secretary could also tell us whether the ministry has conducted any evaluation to determine whether the programs have reduced the poverty and vulnerability in the country. Thank you.
Senator Modama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question to the CS is about the delays of the money that is given to the old, because most of them are really calling us and asking us what is happening with our money. Why can't you fight for us and we be paid? Like now they've not received their monies for some months now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is for the person with a severe disability. They need caretaker. Is the ministry paying the caregiver? If yes, if no, what is the way forward of the caregivers? Thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I just want the CS to confirm what strategy they have or program to make sure that the monies which go to old people is on time and each one of them who is registered receives. Because a lot of time when it is sent, people have registered but they don't get this money at all. And the efforts to find a verification is difficult, and therefore they keep on coming back to elected leaders. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okenyuri.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also wish to know from the Cabinet Secretary why the Inua Jamii cash transfer is stalling, especially notable in Kisii by yesterday. Most of the residents were not able to access the same, and this is arising from the technical hitches which we are experiencing from migration from the commercial banks to the mobile system. And attempts by residents to get to the local offices are unresponsive because those local offices lack the digital devices that they need to aid this. What is the ministry doing to address that so that we rescue most of our vulnerable groups from the distress they are undergoing at the moment? Thank you.
Senator Moruma.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to ask us a question. My question would be the frequency in which the beneficiaries of Inua Jamii are replaced. Because I know there are people who are beneficiaries and die, but I've never had people being replaced. And yet there are very many people who are supposed to really benefit. In my county, how many, for example, have been replaced in the last 1 year? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm looking at the data for beneficiary distribution per program per county. And I've noted that there are outlier counties like Kakamega with 54,000, Kiambu with 52,000, Kitui with 50,000, Machakos with 50,000, Meru with 50,000, Muranga with 63,000. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain, give details of why we have, for example, the highest numbers in Muranga, which ordinarily would want to believe in terms of economy and production, we will not be having as many vulnerable people as possible. While the average, looking at the list, is about 20,000 per county. Why these outlier figures?
Senator Mazayo.
Asante mtaiki Speaker. Mtaiki Speaker, nataka kumuuliza waziri wa wafanyikazi swala moja. La kwanza ni kwamba katika Kilifi County kuna sehemu fulani za towns ambazo zimetangazwa ama mijiji ambazo zimetangazwa kama municipalities, kama ni Mtwapa, Mariakani, Kaloleni. Sasa zimekuwa status yake ni ya municipality, na kufikia hapo kuna labor officers wako wanaofanya kazi katika wizara yako, wanatakana kuzunguka na kujua kwamba sasa wafanyi kazi wanaofanya katika yale maeneo, hususan yale ambayo nimeyataja. Kuna makampuni mengi sana sasa ambayo yanaingia ndani ya Kilifi na kuanza biashara, lakini mishahara wanaolipa wafanyikazi bado ni ile iko chini zaidi. Hata wengine wana collaborate ama wanahusiana na makampuni yanahusiana na labor officers, wanafanya hali ya ufisadi ya kwamba hawakupatii ripoti wewe kama waziri wa wafanyikazi, kuona ya kwamba malipo ya zile kampuni ambazo zimeanza ile biashara ndani ya Kilifi County, hususan katika zile towns ambazo nimekuelezea, ambazo zimewekwa kama municipality, wafanyikazi kufikia hivi sasa wanapata mishahara duni ambayo haiko sawa sawa na ile mishahara kama iliyoko Mombasa ama katika zile townships zingine ambazo zimetangazwa kama municipalities. Ni hatua gani wizara yako inafanya kuona ya kwamba wafanyikazi wale wanaofanya kazi ndani ya Kilifi County na hususan katika yale maeneo kama EPZ na zile kampuni zingine zozote ambazo ziko pale zinaweza kulipa wafanyikazi haki zao kulinganishana na sheria za zile mnaita minimum statutory government wages ambazo wewe ndio unaziangalia? Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator Chute.
Nashukuru Mheshimiwa Speaker. Nilikuwa nafikiria Kiswahili nasema municipal, sio municipality. Yo Mswahili sijui leo kidogo chelewa kidogo. Mheshimiwa Speaker, waziri iko siku nilisema dolari, nikaambiwa sio dolari. Kwa hivyo municipal ndio ile Kiswahili sahihi. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwanza nataka kushukuru serikali yetu ya UDA. Ile pesa mahali kama Marsabit tunapata shida sana, hali ya umaskini iko juu sana. Na shukuru serikali ya UDA. Ile nini nimevaa leo kuonyesha wale walivaa jana ile rangi yao, si mimi pia nimevaa rangi ya UDA. Na hiyo pesa vile inaenda Marsabit tutasaidia sana. Kwa nataka kuuliza waziri, hiyo pesa inachelewa, inakaa paka miezi 6 bila kuingia. Ni kitu gani inachelewesha hiyo pesa? Na hiyo pesa vile inachelewa, utafanya nini kama waziri? Hiyo pesa kila mwezi ifikie watu wetu ndio wapate rupurupu, ndio wasipate shida ya kuongoja hiyo pesa paka miezi 6. Shukrani Bwana Speaker.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Bwana CS, there has been allegations of this program having ghost beneficiaries. How serious is that problem, and what has your ministry done to mitigate against the same? Thank you.
Senator Sige.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary question to the CS is born from the beneficiary distribution per program per county schedule that is provided. Honorable CS, you have told the House that you have lately received directives from the President to re-register or continue registration and review of the beneficiary list. The information we are getting is that the system and criteria is a bit restrictive. I'm saying so, Mr. Speaker, because looking at Bomet County, which I represent, the number of persons with severe disabilities on statistics have got up to over 13,500 people. The beneficiaries thereof from the schedule, Honorable CS, is 1,100. 177, meaning we have got people over 12,000 who still need this particular support. What measures have you put in place to either ensure that you have as many of those who are desirable of this support from the restrictive criteria that is used in incorporating them in the register of the beneficiaries? Thank you.
Senator Kathure.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Swali langu kwa waziri ni ya kwamba kuna wazee wengi sana wamepitisha miaka 70. Kuna wengi walikuwa wanapokea zile hera lakini siku hizi hawapati. Wametolewa kwa system na wajui vile watarudishwa. Wamejaribu katika sub county offices za social service lakini wameshindwa. Kwa hivyo nauliza waziri, au watarudi namna gani, na wale wanafika umri wa miaka 70 mbona wasiwe moja kwa moja wanaingizwa kwa system, sababu kuna wengi sana ambao wamepitisha hiyo miaka na bado hawapati, hawajasajiliwa kupata hiyo pesa. Naomba waziri, kama vile hii citizen inaweza kufanya kazi siku hizi, mbona asifanye automation ya kwamba mzee akifika miaka 70 vile chute kama akifika miaka 70 anaingizwa moja kwa moja katika mfumo huo wa kupata hizo hera. Bwana Speaker, asante sana.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Waziri. Waziri, the statutory bodies like NSF, CBF and lab funds, they invest the pensioners' money to various projects. Like NSF is actually do a lot of investment. But, you know, whatever interest they get, whatever the business is made out of less, the only money that is made is not reflected back, or it's not back, contribute back to the pensioners. So what is actually, how much money does go to, after investment, how much money is back to the pensioners so that they can benefit? Most of the pensioners are suffering actually, and they're not paid anything, and their money is being used for investments. It is not actually paid back to them. So I don't know what is the Constitution saying, that pensioners must get their money after investment. At least they must get at least an additional fund. So instead of, you know, investing, people are building a lot of houses, they do a lot of investments. They even actually, like CBF now is actually contributing to roads, but the contributor is actually suffering. They don't even get their money. They get no benefit in that investment.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, my question is on disability inclusion program, which the ministries are giving out startup capital for small business, which beneficiaries 264, and for the groups of 88 groups. Mr. Speaker, my question is for equity. Will the CS give us the breakdown as per the counties, so that at least we know which counties has benefited for this startup capital? Thank you.
Senator Chalagin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My just follow-up question, and I want to thank Senator Chute for wearing yellow, which is UDA. And I think he's wearing a better quality, unlike yesterday, wore butcher-like clothing. Mr. Speaker, my follow-up question is only one. One I wanted to know from the CS Labor, Governor Mutua, how long does it update the amount they give to the socially protected Kenya because of the high cost of living? And how regular does this ministry update on the list? Especially, Mr. Speaker, when we know all of us, the Bible says we stay 70 to 80 years, but beyond that, you are called to the Mecca. So when that happens, how long does it take the ministry to update their lists and ensure that they capture the indigent or the adequate beneficiaries And he should answer this question vis-a-vis, and I wish Waziri would be listening. Mr. Speaker, can you call the minister to order? He is consulting. Mr. Speaker, how long, I'm making a critical point, how can he distinguish Kenyans who earn pension vis-a-vis access to all the Kenyans who are indigent, and vis-a-vis Kenyans who are neither pensioners or indigent, so that they can access these socially protected funds through the ministry? I yield back the mic, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, Honorable CS, you can proceed and answer, give responses to those supplementary questions as we close this business this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Very, very good questions. There was the first question about long-term strategy to ensure that the government can actually afford this. And the good news that the law has been approved. Now we have an act, and we are setting up a board and a fund. So the fund will be able to have much more money than budget reallocation. So we'll be able to cover more people. In terms of evaluation of the levels of poverty and everything, so the fund will be able to deal with those things. Let me talk about delays, because there's been allegations which are accurate of delays, but I want to tell this House that since I became the minister, I have ensured we don't have delays. For the last 1 year, people have been paid on time on the 5th, by the 5th day of every month. Last month, because of the budgetary cycle and the closure of books by Treasury, we were not able to pay for just last month. But we are consolidating last month, and this month are being paid together next week. By the 5th, they'll get double payment. So it had nothing to do with us. We were not able to be allocated that money to the central bank to be able to pay. But from that time, you'll all agree with me, we have made transformation. People used to queue. People used to take a boda matatu to go to their bank to get the money. We were able to transform the system, and I gave the word to, I was in Senate, I said we are making those changes. I made a policy change. Now people are paid directly to M-Pesa, Safaricom, money goes directly to them, and the pressure has come down. On the issue, and I'm consolidating the messages, if one of the issues that came up that has been brought twice was the issue of members of different places getting different money. You know, there was Mandago asked a question, there's a question asked by, I think, Bomet and others. And the question is, it's very clear. It is done based on population and also longevity. You find that Muranga, in our country, if you look at statistics, has one of the highest life expectancies. So we've got people who are poor, but somehow, maybe it's a water, maybe it's a idle, maybe it's whatever, they live longer than others. So you find there are more people who are alive, who are not kicked out of the system. There was a question, swali nzuri kuhusu limeulizwa na mheshimiwa kutoka Kilifi County kuhusu munispa na kazi ambayo ifanywa kuimarisha ya kwamba watu ambao wanafanya kazi wanalipwa mishahara inayofaa kulingana na munispa na kulingana na ile orodha ya ongezeko la mishahara ambayo mimi niliweza kugazeti. Ni kumhakikishia kwamba nitauliza maafisa wangu wazunguke waangalie kuhakikisha kwamba watu wanalipwa mishahara kulingana na ile orodha ya minimum wage ambayo imepeanwa na serikali. Kwa hivyo na kuhakikishia kama mimi kama mkazi wa Kilifi pia nitahakikisha, lakini tukumbuke ya kwamba watu walipi mishahara kulingana pia na munispa peke yake, inalingana na ile orodha na sehemu zilipo kulingana na hali ya maisha ya eneo hilo, lakini nitahakikisha kwamba watu wamepata haki yao. Ningependa kuwauliza waheshimiwa walio hapa kwamba muhakikishe kwamba mmepata ile gazette notice na mnalipa watu inavyofaa. Kwa mfano, najua wengine wenyu, Mheshimiwa Speaker, pengine mko pia na house helps walio kwako nyumbani. Naona Mheshimiwa Charangai anapiga vizuri. Kwa hivyo tutaangalia kama ule mfanyikazi wa nyumbani wa house help amekanyagiwa chini na Mheshimiwa Charangai alipo ile idadi inayopaswa kulipwa hapa Nairobi, basi tutamfuata tuhakikishe amemlipa, kwa sababu lazima tufuate ile sheria. Kwa hivyo munispa za Kilifi nitahakikisha kwamba watu wameweza kuzunguka kuhakikisha ya kwamba haki imeweza kupatikana ya kulingana na orodha ya the minimum wage ya kila mahali, sio Kilifi peke yake, lakini katika nchi yetu yote ya Kenya. Ningependa kusema ya kwamba nimesema kwamba idadi ya miezi 6 haipo, ni miezi 2 tu, mwezi mmoja tu ndio watu hawajaweza kulipwa. Kuhusu ghost workers, hilo ni jambo ambalo nilikuta wakati nilipoingia katika cheo hiki, nikatuma timu zangu chini na ndio tulisema tutumie ngao kuangalia kwamba, na tukafanya verification, tukampatia chief, sub chief, huyu mtu yupo hayupo, sababu tulikuta kwamba watu walikuwa wanafariki alafu wa familia yao inaendelea kupata hizo pesa. Kwa hivyo tukaangalia yupo ama yupo, huyu mtu kweli ni mgonjwa sio mgonjwa. Kwa hivyo it's an ongoing work ambayo basi tunaendeleza. In terms of I've answered the question about distribution and about wazee wengi ambao hawapati. I wish we had the enough budget to give everybody. Just because you hit 70 doesn't mean that you automatically qualify. You hit 70 and you're driving a Mercedes Benz doesn't mean that you qualify. You really have to be needy, and we have been a bit strict in terms of using a testing system to ensure that people qualify according to how much they need. The reality, Mr. Speaker, and I think Mheshimiwa Chengai was not here when I was giving the earlier one also, it's very clear that we actually need 70 billion per year, minimum. But the budgetary allocation is 26 billion. We don't have 70 to 80 billion. That's what we really need to really cover the pocket. So this house can help us be able to mobilize more funds, but the fund that we are opening up with the board, the new board, will be able to help us get some of this money. In terms of the question about NSSF, very good question. It's a loaded question. I don't have the capacity right now to be able to answer that question. I need to get statistics, figures, and the work that we've been doing. So maybe you can ask that question as a substantive question. I'm ready to come here and give you a very strong and accurate answer. Mr. Speaker, there's the question about disability and income and the breakdown, and I will also be able to provide that to you on Monday. I'll provide this House with that information for honorable member to see the breakdown of the different. I didn't have the information with me today. I'll be able to provide that information so that you can see how they're going. Just to let this House know that this government is very clear. For example, the President has led with the Nyota Initiative. And in that Nyota Initiative, where we're giving startup capital, we are supporting young people of this country. We also have a component that's supporting people who are living with disability. And we're giving them money. And if you looked at the program as the Executive President launched them, you see we are not leaving anyone behind. People living with disability are also covered in the Nyota program, in also other government programs, because this government I want to humbly refer Mheshimiwa Chirangai because he represented the reply I gave in the response that is on page 1, 2, 3, 4, very well enumerated on that page 4. I don't want to have to read the whole system, the whole process again. I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Waziri, it's like Senator Mazayo has a clarification and Senator Okenyuri. And also I asked why some beneficiaries have been removed from the system and how they will be brought back because there is that challenge. And also how this, after you reach 70 and you qualify, because the government has all the data, why don't you just automate the system so that those beneficiaries get the support indirectly? Maybe with that and Senator Mazayo.
Asante Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, sehemu fulani ambayo waziri alikuwa hajaijibu ni ile ya kwamba ni lini atatangaza ama ataweka ile statutory notice ya kwamba kwa vile maeneo kama Mtwapa na maeneo mengine kama Mariakani yameshatangazwa kwamba hizo ni municipality, na sasa wale wafanyikazi wanaofanya kazi katika EPZ, wanaofanya katika zile kampuni ambazo ziko pale, ni lini ataweza kutangaza katika gazette notice waweze kuinuliwa ile mishahara, kuweza kuongezwa, kuletwa status ya municipality, sio pale walipo hivi sasa wakiwa wananyanyaswa, wanafanya kazi na hawalipwi zile pesa kulinganishana na fidia za municipality. Asante bwana waziri.
Senator Ambua.
My matter is resolved. I'm okay.
Senator Kenyuri.
Thank you, Speaker. I wish to get clarity from the Cabinet Secretary because I reported a matter by yesterday in Kisii. Most of the residents who are receiving this, the transfer has stalled. And I needed a response on why, because I know, of course, we are transitioning from commercial banks to the mobile system. Attempts by the residents to contact the local offices in Kisii have failed because those local officials are not empowered with the digital equipment they need to assist these residents. What is the ministry doing to sort out that so that we get out the vulnerable groups from the distress they are currently experiencing? Thank you.
Senator Maria, you know I'm not opening for new supplementary questions. What is it?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not asking a new question, but my question has not been answered about the caregiver for disability, severe disability. They need assistance, and these guys are with them throughout. So is the ministry paying this caregiver? If no, why? Thank you.
Honorable CS.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to say that we have an automatic system that identifies those who get over 70. We are hooked up to the immigration and national registration of people. So we know when people get over 70. But just because you hit 70 doesn't mean that you qualify. You can hit 70 and you are a member of the Senate. So you don't really qualify to receive these monies. If we were decided to give monies to everybody who just hit 70 by virtue of just becoming older than 1 year older than 69 and beyond, the country would need maybe 300 to 400 billion a year to just give the money. So this money is meant as a social protection money for those ones who are really poor. If we were to cover those ones who hit 70, who need some bit of support, and we need about 70 to 80 billion shillings per year. So, but we don't have that amount of money. So we have to tighten the criteria to go to the really, really needy. That's why it's called social protection, to the ones who are falling through the cracks. So we hope as the economy grows and as we get the fund, we'll be able to cover more people. Kuhusu munispa, ningependa kumhakikishia Mheshimiwa Kilifi ya kwamba tutatumia ile minimum wage gazette notice ambayo niliweza kupublish mwezi uliopita kuhakikisha kwamba watu wanalipa mshahara kulingana na ile minimum wage criteria ambayo nimeipeana. Kwa hivyo nakuahidi ya kwamba mimi hivi leo nikirudi kwa ofisi baada ya hapa nitahakikisha maafisa wangu wa labor wameanza kuchunguza kuhakikisha kwamba watu wamepata haki yao. As I said in the beginning, Kenya is not a country that practices slavery. People work, they need to be paid, and they need to be paid what they are owed, and they need to be paid what is right. So people for a long time are just making tons of money thinking that you can get away with it. They need to know that this government will not allow that people need to get their rights, and that it doesn't matter if you're working, you need to be paid on time. If you're not being paid on time, there need to be a program of when you will be paid. Kuhusu the transfer from Kisii, I'd like to clarify that I am not aware of anything stalling. It has not come to my attention. All I know is that we have not paid. We have a deficit of only 3 weeks because the June's payment was not paid, but we are paying June and July together this month. So, unajua, people at times, wananchi can come to you panicking, and people complain. They don't get it for 1 week. You'd think they have not received for 1 year. So, and it's because it's a very, very important social protection. So, my apologies. It was not paid because of the closure of the year. We didn't get the funds, but we have already prepared all the documents. My officers are here. We're just waiting for the money to come in this week. We're pushing the button. Next week, they'll get their double payments. And lastly, I totally agree. My apologies about not answering the question. The caregivers, yes, they are not covered. They are not paid anything because of the same problem of budgetary allocation. That would mean we'd be paying double and we'd have to reduce others. So we are looking at a system whereby we can be able to give them something. And so that's work in progress. I submit and thank you very much. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, that this has been a very enlightening moment, and it's very important, and I'm very happy the members of the Senate really care about what is happening to our people through the labor movement and also through our disability program. I appreciate, and I'm ready to come back anytime to be able to clarify on matters. Shukran.
Thank you, Honorable CS, for your time this morning to appear before the Senate. And thank you for the kind words that you have for the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Actually, you can be able to see the difference between the two houses. Houses that means business and the other one, which, and the other house. Therefore, you know that crap is not about the goosey gentleman, but the remarks that I made to the Honorable CS. So you might be surprised why there is scrapping or food dumping. Okay, asante sana waziri kwa muda wako. Tumeshukuru sana, na tukipata nafasi nyingine tutakualika ndio tusaidie Wakenya pamoja. Before we get to the next business, honorable members, I want to make this communication that we have a delegation of teachers and students from Rokenya Academy School at the River Machakos County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 5 teachers and 8 students from Rokenya Academy in the River Machakos County who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Senator Kavindu Mudhama. Let's first welcome the visitors, and then you can ask later.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome the students from Athi River, Lukenya. Karibu sana, Senate. I hope you will learn something through our debates here, and you have a bright future. Just study hard. You can make it to any office in this country and even outside the country. Just be friendly to books and obey your teachers and parents. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Very well. Yes, Senator Dr. Mboni Karwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you noticed that after you called out the names of the school, all the children stood up, which is not the usual procedure in the House, but it is an acknowledgement of the high level of discipline in that school, Mr. Speaker. Yes. Mr. Speaker, I therefore request that you allow me to also join Senator Kavindu.
Please do continue. Yes. 1 minute.
Yes. In 1 minute, I want to discharge what I've just received on the phone. I have received a congratulatory message from a leader from Machakos who asked me to convey. Former Senator of this House, Senator Johnson Nduya Mudhama, has sent me a message asking me that I congratulate you for the high discipline in your school and the fact that He has had the pleasure of Senator Kavindu also receiving you. You know the history. Mr. Speaker, it would be nice for the children to know that in this very chamber, it is where their grandfather, Paul Ngei, would address the nation from this very chamber as minister and as MP from Kangundo. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, thank you. Let's go to the next one.
Order number 8, motion, provision of IFMIS reports for county governments to the Senate. Resumption of debate, interrupted on Thursday, 16th July 2026. Question on amendment to be put.
Honorable Senators, I want to ascertain whether we have quorum to put a question on the amendment by Senator Wakububi on this motion. If we have the numbers to put the question. Clerk, do you have quorum? Then we defer the putting of the question on amendment and go to the next order.
Order number 9, motion, mainstreaming a framework for clean cooking in Kenya.
No, we are not able to put the question on the amendment, on the numbers.
So he is now this is moving
forward. Senator Aminta Kibwana was to move this motion, but she is not around, so we defer under number 9. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, promotion of artificial intelligence, AI, and innovation policy in Kenya.
This motion was supposed to be moved by Senator Karungo Dhangwa. I can see she is not in the house, so we defer also this business. Next order.
Order number 11, motion, report of the liaison committee on the activities and operations of select committees during the 3rd session 2024.
This order was to be moved by the chairperson liaison committee, the U.S. Truly, and I can see there is no member of the presidium to relieve me. Therefore, that order is defunct. Next order.
Order number 12, motion, report of the liaison committee on the activities and operations of select committees during the 4th session 2025.
That order is defunct again. Honorable Senators, That is the end of our business this morning. And there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 22nd July 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
Kwa nini ulipotea kazi ya polisi huko unazunguka nyumba za watu ukiwauliza maswali?
Nini inaendelea kati yako, Sam, Yasin, Biko na Marvin?
Ni wana biashara
Unajua nini kuhusu mzigo ya Yasin yenye ilipotea?
Mzigo gani?
Mlikuwa watu wawili tu na tulikuwa mnajua location ya hiyo mzigo Mark.
Sasa unajaribu kusema nini Tutakujiwa hadi wenye manze Marvin anajua kuhusu.
How about you give me more responsibilities now that we are working together and all?
I was thinking we slow things down.
Kupata shule ya mtoto wako disabled si rahisi.
Integrated schools do more than just sharing a physical space. They build teamwork and create a sense of belonging.
We are looking at an education system that encompasses everything that this child on the spectrum requires.
When we open our school doors to everyone, we just don't change how children learn, but we break down the walls of social stigma and teach the next generation the power of inclusion.
We've been with our son for 10 years, and the best thing you can do is expose your child.
The Kenya we are building cannot afford to leave any child's potential on the margins.
Join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Lights on, volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home.
Huyu ni nani? Alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili. Toka nje. Hii nyumba yako.
Yote ni porojo. To international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars, and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all. We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good morning, Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Mkulima wa wiki hii ni mwanamke bomba aliyejitosa katika kilimo biashara.
Chakula yao ya kwanza tunapatia saa 12 asubuhi. Ya pili tunawapatia saa 6 mchana. Alafu ikienda kidogo mpaka saa 9 hivi saa 11 tunafunga mambo ya chakula. Lakini maji inaenda throughout. Kwa sababu kuku ni maji.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1. Tuangazie ufugaji wa kuku na faida zake.
He's out. Come on, run, hurry.
Li Xuanyuan, Li Xuanyuan.
He's not Li Xuanyuan. Let's go.
Li Xuanyuan, I'm your spirit host.
I told you, it's not Li Xuanyuan anymore.
Then who else could he be? Li Xuanyuan, are you really gonna hurt me? I'm telling you, I'm not afraid of you one bit. Ah!
Nimekuja hapa Kirinyaga kwa sababu muliniambia ati mama mboga afanye kazi mahali kuna heshima, mahali kuna maji, mahali kuna stima, mahali kuna vyoo na mahali kuna cold room.
The construction of Kagio Modern Markets is going on well. We have done the ground floor whereby we have the traders sell their products down there. We have the first floor, which will also have spaces where the traders will sell their products. Then we have the second floor now, whereby we'll have a place where a meeting can be held, offices. We have the washrooms in each and every floor, apart from the ground floor, which will have the ablution block outside the block.
Kwanza sana tunahofianga accident zenye zinafanyikanga along the way. Sana hatukuangi safe, tunasikianga tu tunahofia. Tena sana kuna vumbi sana. Unaona road zikipita hivyo tunajifunikanga sana tunakaanga na mask. Tuliposikia wanakuja kujenga market, tulifurahia sana na tukasikia sasa tutapata market modernized. At least tutakuwa mahali safe, mahali hatuchomeki na jua, mahali tutapata tu pesa tukiwa tuko starehe.
Unaona sasa ukiambiwa itajengwa unaona kama ni stories za jaba, lakini wakati ule president alikuja akafungua na tukaona imeanzia, tulijua itajengwa. Na unaona saa hii inaendelea. Wakati ule tulitoa watu nje, hakuna maji, hakuna choo, accident ni mingi. Sasa wakati ule tutarudi kwa soko hii modern market itatatua hiyo mambo yote.
Hii mradi ya kujenga Kagio Market niliambiwa na rafiki yangu, ndio nikaja nikatafuta kazi, nikapata ya kuweka stima. Kama saa hii tunafanya piping ya stima, ndio ukisema ni kufanywa kukimwagwa simiti, kukorogewe, tushamaliza hii piping ya stima. Hii mjengo imenipa opportunity ya kupractice whatever I learned in school, put into practice.
Tungesema ni asanti sana, na tunaona kila kitu inaendelea haraka venye alisema, na mambo inaenda tu vizuri. Ni promise delivered. Iko sawa.
Sasa leo nimekuja hapa, sikizeni watu wa Nanyuki. Hapa serikali ya Kenya tunawapatia milioni 358 ya kujenga soko yenu hapa. Nimekuja kuangalia awamu ya kwanza.
So in the Nanyuki Modern Market, it is a commercial hub that will encompass creche, stalls, an ICT hub, also inclusive of shops on the first floor. And this is going to be a game changer for the Nanyuki community, since it's going to be an open air market that is going to give them the ability to be secured all under one roof. That will also enhance the display of the food products and enable the traders to be able to benefit from customers, and also being sheltered from rain, since we are covering the whole market under a roof.
Pepo ukikuja, vumbi inaingia kwa nyani, kwa hizi mboga. Tukiingishwa kwa hiyo shade, itatusaidia sana juu tutakuwa tumepandishwa, hatutakuwa tunatandika chini tena. Hatukuwa tunatarajia itatengenezwa, lakini wakati tuliona imeanzia, tulifurahia sana juu tutakuwa pahali pazuri ambapo hatunyeshewi na hakuna baridi.
Serikali imetufanyia kitu muhimu, na mjengo yenye inajengwa pale, ile project ni project kubwa. Nyumba yenyewe kulingana na design yenye iko inaonekana ni modern soko. Tuko na tarajio tutapata maji juu hii soko haina maji. Tutapata maji, tutapata stima kutoka kwa hiyo plate na itatusaidia zaidi.
Hii mradi nimeisikia ni kwa radio. Mr. President akiwa anajenga soko Nanyuki. I decided kuja kutafuta kazi. Mimi sikuwa na kazi. Nikakuja nikabahatika. We are still here, tunang'ang'ana. Hii kazi imenisaidia sana. Juu siombi mtu. Mamangu simsumbui ati sijalipa rent. Imenikalisha hii town bedhe. Kuna peace, hakuna wizi ati ile unasikia. Vijana wanaamka wanakuja kazi hapa. Ukitoka hapa masaa yako kushachoka, unaenda unafanya mambo zako unaamkia. So imetufanya tukue busy, hakuna idleness huko.
Tumefurahia juu rais wetu ametukumbuka, akatuwekea hii soko. Naona sasa hatutakuwa tunanyeshewa, ndio maana nasema hatutakuwa tunanyeshewa, tuko pahali pasafi, mahali hatutatangamana na uchafu yenye iko chini.
Hiyo ilikuwa inaitwa Mudavadi pale, tumeweka pale karibu milioni 300 kujenga. Na leo mimi nimefika hapa Udhaya.
Hapa Udhaya Modern Market, progress iko sawa. With time tutakuwa tumewamalizia wananchi wa hapa, we will deliver it to them. Naangalia the quality of works. So lazima tuwe hapa to inspect na to monitor the standards are good and of good quality. In fact hapa kwa soko tumecreate source of job employment juu tumepatia masons kazi, carpenters, electricians, so plumbing watapata kazi, plumbers. Yeah, so we are creating job employment.
Wengi wetu hatukuwa tunaamini, lakini baadaye mtukufu Mheshimiwa Rais alipokuja hapa, Dr. William Ruto, tuliona ya kwamba kweli ilikuwa ni mambo ya ukweli. Na wakati soko ilianza ndio tulifurahia sana, na tukaona ilianza, na diposa tunaona hapa inaendelea vyema.
Hiyo ni kitu mzuri, tunafurahi kwa sababu ya hiyo. Hata sio si kukua na mzuri, na njua tunajengewa soko kama ile ya kisasa, na maji tunaletewa paka pahari. Hata tutakuwa na nyumba ya kuchenjia diaper ya watoto, tutakuwa na horo, tutakuwa na hoteli. Mimi najenga hapa kwa barabara, nikiwapikia chakula, na nikafurahi sana kwa sababu napata mkate wa kila siku kwa watoto wangu, hata fees.
Kwa hii site mimi natengeneza machuma, hizo macolumns. Sasa hii nimetoka kufunga machuma. Huu mradi imenisaidia sana, kwa niko na wenye wanasoma, brothers wangu na sisters bado wanasoma, so ninawasupport wakiwa nyumbani. Ametuweka busy. Unajua ukiwa kijana kama mimi, Ukiwa kwa nyumba unaweza fanya vitu ambayo hazileti furaha hata kwako, hata kwa wazazi. So azidi tu kutuletea hizo job.
Hebu nishukuru president wetu Ruto kwa sababu ya kutuelezea mambo na tukaona inaanza. Kile ninamwambia mimi atumalizie.
Hapa Murang'a tunataka kujenga soko 20 mpya. Tuhakikishe hawa kina mama wanafanya kazi mahali kuna heshima, maji, stima na kila mtu anaweza kuendesha biashara yake.
Hapa soko mpya ya Makenji ita offer facilities kama cold room, mother's room, kitchen na pia market yenyewe ndio wamama waweze kutumia. Pia kutakuwa na ICT hub center pali itaweza kuleta internet na ICT knowledge hapa mashinani. Tumeweza kuoffer jobs kama masonry, watu wa mkono, mafundi plumbers, mafundi wa mbao, na tena tumeweza kupatia vijana wa huku mtaa hizo kazi. Juu ndo tumewapea priority ya kwanza waweze kutudeliveria market yao.
Changamoto kubwa ile tunapitia tukiwa hapa ni hii tu barabara. Hii iko na shida kwa sababu barabara ni squeezed sana. Kwa sababu saa ile magari inapita hapa kwa mbio na zingine zikitoka hivi, zingine zinakuja zinaanguka hapa. Saa ile walikuja kusema wanakuja kujenga soko, hawakukaa. Kwa hivyo hiyo maneno tunafurahia na tukaona serikali yetu inatufanyia kitu.
Walituambia wanajenga soko, lakini sisi hatukuona kama ni ukweli. Tuliona tu kama ni zile stories za jamba za hii toka kitambo, hatukuwa tunaamini. Kwa hivyo hata hatukujipanga kama watakuja, tukakaa tu kidogo wakakuja.
Kwanza hii soko na hii affordable iko hapa imepanua hii mji yetu sana, hii kijiji yetu. Sasa hata hatutakuwa tunaita kijiji tena, sasa naona inaendelea itakuwa sasa town.
Huku Makenji nimekuja kufanya kazi ya carpenter na ni kazi ambayo naipenda sana. Saa hii ni mambo na setting ya mbao, ndio tuende step ingine ya chuma. Kutoka hapo si koroga ndio itafuata.
Tunakatalia barabara kwa nini? Tunapenda sana iishe tuingie ndani. Hiyo ndio tunangojea tu. Hata tukiambiwa kesho ingieni, tunaingia tu. Ni nani angependa kukaa pahali ananyeshewa?
Kwani ulipotea kazi ya polisi huko unazunguka nyumba za watu ukiwauliza maswali?
Nini inaendelea kati yako, Sam, Yasin, Biko na Marvin?
Ni wana biashara
Unajua nini kuhusu mzigo ya Yasin yenye ilipotea?
Mzigo gani?
Mlikuwa watu wawili tu na tulikuwa mnajua location ya hiyo mzigo, Mark.
Sasa unajaribu kusema nini Tutakujiwa hadi wenye manze Marvin ajui kuhusu.
How about you give me more responsibilities now that we are working together and all?
I was thinking we slow things down.
He's out. Come on, run, hurry.
Li Xuanyuan! Li Xuanyuan!
He's not Li Xuanyuan. Let's go.
Li Xuanyuan! I'm your spirit host.
I told you, it's not Li Xuanyuan anymore.
Then who else could he be? Li Xuanyuan, are you really gonna hurt me? I'm telling you. I'm not afraid of you one bit.
Lights on, volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home
alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili. Toka nje!
Hii nyumba yako. Yote ni porojo. To international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
The agency covers 5 counties. That is Narok, Nakuru, Nyandarua, Laikipia, and Baringo. The core mandate of this agency is development of water and sanitation infrastructure for our area of jurisdiction. Under the better economic transformation agenda, as agency, the very key thing that we are doing is to reach to the last person, the mwananchi. And what program that we are using is connectivity, the last mile connectivity.
Tulikuwa nang'ang'ania maji na ndovu kwa Kerio. Sasa tangu hii maji ichimbwe kabisa, hii imetusaidia kabisa, ng'ombe inakunywa hapa.
Zamani tulikuwa tukitaramuka almost 5 kilometers kutafutia ng'ombe maji. Na wamama walikuwa wakienda the same kilometers kuleta maji ya kutumia kwa nyumba. So wakati maji ilifika, tukaona mabadiliko. Hata ujumi ya area iliinuka.
Zamani hapa ilikuwa na shida ya typhoid. Tumekuwa na afya, hata watoto unaona iko sawa na kunywa maji safi. Tunaona sasa hii maji imetusaidia kabisa. Afya malaria ya typhoid sasa imeenda chini. Tulikuwa naenda kwa hospitali tupimwe typhoid, wenda chemistry and nunua dawa ya typhoid, ilikuwa sasa tunajua hii maji imepunguza hii sasa.
These connections has changed many lives of people in terms of domestic use of water. Some raw water that we supply to them, they also use it for irrigation. So in terms of economic changes, is small parts of irrigation connection that we have done. On average, about 65 water connections for all the 5 counties.
Mama wamepanda mboga. Ng'ombe wanakunywa maji hapa karibu, wamekuwa healthy. Tunaona tumepata msaada wa karibu na imetusaidia kwa pakubwa sana.
Tulianza hii kazi tangu tulipopata hii maji. Nimepata faida mingi, hata nasomesha mtoto na bea ya shule na kulisha watoto. Tunakula matunda. Watoto hawezi kutembea maji mbali. Hata wanyama wanakunywa hapa na kukula.
Sasa hii maji sasa imetusaidia mboga, tunauza mboga. Wamama wananunua shuka, wanalipa watoto shule, tunakula. Hata paipai hapa tunasauza, ndizi. Hii tukachukua sasa, kumbe maji ni uhai.
Wakati watu walipanda hii mboga, tunaona nutrition health ya watu imeanza kuwa sawa. Wenye wamepanda mboga, inasaf mpaka sande ya kuikui. Inasaf mpaka sande ya terlokuonini.
Zamani nilikuwa nanunua mboga ya 50 kila siku ya familia. Sasa hii imechange, mimi nauza.
This project of Kambisamaki that we got funding from the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, and also Baringo County, Child Fund, and ourselves, we have done a project that is a game changer. We are getting water from the Lake Baringo. We treat to remove all the fluoride, and then now we now distribute to the people.
And the project basically entails the removal of fluoride and iron, which is what we found in the water. And we are taking the water through a 3-stage process. So the first process is iron oxidation and sedimentation. The second stage is ultrafiltration, and the third stage is reverse osmosis. The system is solar powered. So in a day, we estimate 6 to 7 hours of solar radiation. So that would give us 60 to 70 cubic.
So what this project has actually done is, one, to alleviate the problem of accessibility of clean drinking water. It has also helped a lot in terms of removing the health challenge that we had. Fluorosis is whereby there's a browning of teeth and there was deformity of the bones of children down.
Na fluoride inapokuwa nyingi, ishara yake ni kwamba watu wetu wote wako na meno nyekundu. Kuna wengine mafupa yao imekuwa mepesi sana. Kwa hivyo inakuwa shida kwa wananchi wetu kwa muda mrefu sana.
It will be a game changer since all along this water has been so contaminated with fluorine and then contaminated from the community. Diseases like amoeba, typhoid will decline now that the community will access the clean, safe water.
All the schools that we have done, either a bowl, we do the solarization, and we do the last mile connectivity within the school and also to the area, the communities around that place.
This water is used by 3 institutions: Pegibon Comprehensive Primary School, Pegibon Secondary School, Dispensary, and the entire environs. When we received this water, it also improved the feeding program within the school. So it has improved the school retention for our learners. Since we received this water, we never had waterborne diseases like typhoid, cholera. At the moment, we are okay, smooth learning.
Maji yalifika hapa kutoka January last year, 2005, ndivyo ilianza kuwa functional. But before that, unapata tulikuwa na shida nyingi sana za maradhi ya tumbo. Every now and then ni permission ya kwenda kwa dispensary. But now after that, we have a very fresh water ambayo wanatumia, wananawa mikono, wako sawa kabisa afya. Hata hali ya kuombaomba ruhusa kwenda dispensary kwa sababu ya maradhi ya tumbo imepungua to a great extent.
Mimi kama mzazi niongelee watoto wetu hawateseki hapa, na kule nyumbani tunafurahia kuja kupata maji hapa karibu. Kuna tofauti tena kubwa sana, maisha yameimarika. Tunafurahia na tunashukuru sana zaidi kwa serikali kuu kutuletea maji pale.
Chemasusu, we have done the main line of about 235 main trunk pipeline and 455 kilometer pipeline last mile connectivity to the people of Eldamaravin, Mogotio, Rongai, Emining, the pipeline of about 700. If you are to do this, you start from Nakuru to Mombasa, come back to even beyond Voi. That's a length pipeline that we have done.
We are very grateful for the support the government has given us. First of all, to do the dam, the embankment of the dam, Chemasusu Water Dam, and then the second phase, the construction of the treatment works and the infrastructure development across the 2 counties. This water has really changed the lives of people. There are areas like in Mogotio, which didn't have any piped water since independence, but now have water and potable water for that matter, which is very good. It has given us a breakthrough in terms of developing our human capital because we are able to get people drinking water that is safe.
Back then, tulikuwa na shida ya maji sana, but venye hii Chemasusu ilikuja, ikatusaidia kabisa. Frequency iko sawa. Ilitusaidia, we can do our work better and faster. Even our customers wanatumia pia hii maji kukunywa, hawana malalamishi. Pia hizi waterborne diseases, mbeleni maji haikuwa safi vile, ilikuwa pia kikuja Sema sasa wakati wa mvua maji ikikuja ilikuwa na uchafu. Ilikuwa na hiyo sand, but now iko sawa. Hakuna diseases, na pia hiyo frequency ya maji inakuja daily, like tujaikosa.
Nilianza kupata hii maji from Chemsusu. Before Chemsusu, we have a stream down hapa chini ya shamba yangu. So that is where the cows used to go to. And even for washing clothes, sometimes we had to go there unless tuko na maji ya storage ya kwa tanks, ya rainwater. So it has made a very big difference because it is frequent. We don't miss water and it's clean. So we don't have a lot of problems now. Yeah, looking for water, we spend more time now because we can do other things.
Kuanzia hapa ni 2 kilometers mpaka Mtoni. Na inaniwestia time sana. Siwezi fanya kazi zingine. Sasa hivi vile maji imeingia, imenipunguzia mambo ya maji. Vile maji iliingia, nilikuwa nikitaka kuanza hii project yangu ya nyumba. Fundi walikuwa wameanza foundation, walikuwa wamekuja kuanza kuchimbua. Na siku ya pili maji ikaingia. Ikanisaidia kujenga mpaka slab, wamemaliza sasa mpaka hapo lindo. Ni maji vile imenisaidia. Nashukuru sana. Unaona nimeanza kitchen garden sasa, nimeanza kuweka mboga. Ndio nisikuwe nikinunuanga mboga, ninachuna kwa shamba yangu nikikula.
We have done so many projects in Nyandarua County. We talk of Olkalau sewerage that is complete, and we have planned so many planned projects within that area.
Olkalau Water and Sanitation Company is mandated to offer water and sanitation services in Olkalau constituency. That has about 137,000 citizens. The people that we have served are about 54,000. That comes slightly below 50%. Some of the major institutions we are serving are the JM Hospital. We are also serving the Kenya Medical Training College.
We are a heavy consumer of water, considering our very many service points. And I want to particularly talk about our dialysis center that consumes a lot of water, and this is a service we give 6 days in a week. Especially since 2025, there has been significant changes in the volume and the consistency of water supply, and we are very grateful that the water we are getting through Olwasco is enough and it is clean. Especially considering this is a hospital, we cannot afford to have infections. And as I've said, we have sensitive departments like our dialysis unit that requires a lot of water, and not just a lot of water, but clean water. So this has been sufficiently supplied through Olwasco.
He's out. Come on, run, hurry.
Li Xuanyuan! Li Xuanyuan!
He's not Li Xuanyuan. Let's go.
Li Xuanyuan! I'm your spirit host.
I told you, it's not Li Xuanyuan anymore.
Then who else could he be? Li Xuanyuan, are you really gonna hurt me? I'm telling you, I'm not afraid of you one bit! Ah!
他们操控下的傀儡。
Kwa nini ulipotea kazi ya polisi huko unazunguka kwa nyumba za watu ukiwauliza maswali?
Nini inaendelea kati yako, Sam, Yasin, Biko na Marvin?
Ni wana biashara
Unajua nini kuhusu mzigo ya Yasin yenye ilipotea?
Mzigo gani?
Mlikuwa watu wawili tu na mlikuwa mnajua location ya hiyo mzigo Mark.
Sasa unajaribu kusema nini Tutakujiwa hadi wenye manze Marvin ajui kuhusu.
How about you give me more responsibilities now that we are working together in both?
I was thinking we slow things down.
Wakati unalia katika hiyo aya Mungu anasema qala rabbi lima hashatani ama, ewe Mola mbona unanifufua mimi kipofu wakati kuntu basira, na mimi nilikuwa na macho yangu nikiona kisawasawa. Mwanadamu anajitetea akisema ati alikuwa na macho yake ya kisawasawa ya ndani ya kuona ibada yake ya kumuona Allah na utukufu wake. Amesahau kwamba yeye alikuwa hayaangalii mambo ya Allah kwa macho ya ndani, alikuwa anaangalia hivi basi nionekane msikitini, nionekane nafanya hili la kheri, nafanya hili, lakini kiundani hakuna. Tasadaka pia watu watakaoonekana katika TV.
Wewe kama Muislamu katika maisha yako, ikiwa humtaji Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, umemsahau Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basi bila shaka maisha yako yatakuwa ni maisha ya dhiki, utakuwa hauna raha.
Mkulima wa wiki hii ni mwanamke bomba aliyejitosa katika kilimo biashara.
Chakula yao ya kwanza tunapatia saa 12 asubuhi. Ya pili tunawapatia saa 6 mchana. Alafu ikienda kidogo mpaka saa 9 hivi, saa 11 tunafunga mambo ya chakula. Lakini maji inaenda throughout, kwa sababu kuku ni maji.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1, tuangazie ufugaji wa kuku na faida zake.
It's that time that we talk all matters health. A warm welcome to Health and Lifestyle. My name is Marie Ambo. Our social media handles at KBC Channel 1 on X and KBC Channel 1 TV on Facebook is where you can interact with us. Now, cosmetic surgery is becoming increasingly common across the world as more people seek procedures aimed at enhancing their appearance, boosting confidence, or addressing long-standing insecurities. Driven by advance in medical technology, greater awareness, and the influence of social media, treatments once considered exclusive to celebrities are now more accessible to the general public. In Kenya, interest in cosmetic procedures has also grown in recent years, with more men and women openly discussing treatments ranging from non-invasive enhancements to surgical procedures. However, as demand rises, health experts continue to emphasize the importance of patient safety, thorough research, and seeking care from qualified professionals. That is going to be our topic of discussion today on cosmetic surgery. But before that, let's have a look at the highlights. Coming up.
I'm the only person who looks at myself and lives in my own skin. You know what I mean? It's not about an outside influence, it's not about anyone else. It's how I feel in my skin, and I don't feel comfortable.
The rising demand for cosmetic surgery, a personal journey and decision.
So what we do is we go underneath the skin and then we melt the fat and then we suck it out and then the laser tightens the skin at the same time.
Inside cosmetic surgery, a plastic surgeon explains the process and, on good practice, what to know before cosmetic surgery. And to our first segment now, where cosmetic surgery is no longer the taboo topic it once was. Around the world, more people are openly talking about procedures they've had, why they chose them, and the impact those decisions have had on their confidence and self-image. Media personality and actress Anne Moura knows this firsthand. After spending nearly 5 years researching breast augmentation, she eventually decided to undergo the procedure, and now she opens up about her journey. After nearly 5 years of deep research and consultations, Anne Moura decided to undergo a breast augmentation procedure.
And I really was intentional about making sure that I have the right research, I have the right clinic, I have the right place, and that's what I got with Avani Clinic. I was like, okay, this place, I can trust them, and I know I'll be okay.
For her, the decision was a deliberate journey towards self-assurance.
So if someone was to say, like, what's not making me feel happy about what I look like right now, I'm the only person who looks at myself and lives in my own skin. You know what I mean? It's not about an outside influence, it's not about anyone else. It's how I feel in my skin, and I don't feel comfortable. And I know if I can make it better, then I would make it better. That's an option that's available here at Avani Clinic. That's perfect.
Unlike traditional breast implants, which involve inserting silicone gel through major surgery, Anne opted for a minimally invasive alternative. The procedure takes only about 15 minutes.
So what I'm getting is the first time in Africa, but it's been done for quite some time. It's underneath the muscle, and it's like a balloon. Like, it just literally like blows up, and then, you know what I mean? And it sits right there. And if you want to deflate it, everything will come back to the way it was before. So it's super safe. It's 15 minutes as well, which I really like. You can come in the office, go to work, go get your breast done, go back to work, and everything is fine. Recovery time is a lot lower as well. 2 weeks and you're good to go.
The decision, however, was not made overnight, mindful of the growing number of horror stories involving unqualified practitioners and botched cosmetic procedures.
The reason why I decided to get a breast augmentation is because it's taken years of deciding this. As I've gotten older, things are getting older with me, apparently. That happens in life. But I did the research, and this is something I just feel like will make me feel happier.
In an industry where clinics often promise perfection to make a quick sale, one of the things that reassured her most was having a surgeon who was willing to be brutally honest and say no when her expectation did not align with what would look naturally or medically appropriate.
What I wanted, oh my gosh, I was going to look like a fish. Honestly, I was going to be like a puffer fish and falling down. And the doctor was like, no, that does not fit your frame. That's not right for you. And he showed me options of what is more appropriate and available. But the fact that doctor said no is so essential to me doing this. You know what I mean? Because any doctor can say yes. Anyone can take a check.
She describes social media as both a blessing and a curse. While it provides unprecedented access to information and expert medical advice, it also exposes people to dangerous misinformation and unrealistic beauty standards.
Social media is a double-edged sword, if we're being honest, right? You have excess information on one hand, which means you can't find the right doctors and the right clinic. On the other hand, you have back alley people, right? They have no accreditation. They just open up an Instagram shop and good to go. Here's what I can do. And that's where you see a lot of people dying from cosmetic surgery. Because don't forget, it is elective. So with social media, you really have to do your research. You really have to understand like what you're getting into. And don't let anyone else influence you. And that's why I say it's a double-edged sword. You have the good and the bad, like in life, in anything, really.
Anyone considering cosmetic enhancements should do extensive research, she says, seek qualified professionals and make decisions based on their desires and not outside pressure.
That's very fair. Yeah, I mean, that's so fair. People criticize everything in general, religion, like life choices. You see mom blogs, everyone's being criticized. So that's very fair. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's for you, then it's for you. I would say don't judge. Let someone choose what they want. But if someone's being influenced to do something that they're not comfortable with, then yeah, maybe criticize that might pull them off the ledge of doing something wrong. But other than that, everything's criticized, so don't worry about it.
As conversations around cosmetic surgery become more common across Kenya, Anne hopes her story will encourage people to change their priorities.
Okay, so let's say if someone has a fear, first of all, then you're not ready and you're not sure. Don't do it until you're sure. Do your research, number one. Number two, be aware of what you're doing, because there's no reason to do this. You know what I mean? It's fickle. So be really aware of what you're choosing to do to yourself. Now, when it comes to being judged by other people, you wake up in your own body. You sleep in your own body. What is anyone else's opinion about that? You know what I mean? So if you're really happy with your decision, you've done the research, you've done the right work, then that's fine. Everyone else is just outside noise.
Well, self-confidence is just one of the reasons, as Anne has actually put it there, for her to decide to go through the breast augmentation. But on good practice, if you're considering cosmetic surgery, experts generally recommend taking a careful, informed approach before making decisions. Key steps include understanding what your motivation is and choosing a qualified surgeon. More on the good practice. Not everyone performing aesthetic procedures is a qualified plastic surgeon. Here are some issues to consider. Number one, verify the surgeon's credentials. In Kenya, a legitimate plastic surgeon must be board certified and licensed. Inspect the facility, not just the doctor. A major red flag in the cosmetics industry is the rise of med spas or beauty salons offering surgical or deep injectable procedures. For major surgery, procedures requiring general anesthesia must be done in an accredited hospital or fully licensed surgical center equipped with emergency life support protocols and a qualified anesthesiologist. Book a sit-down with a licensed surgeon and use this time to state your goals and concerns. Undergo comprehensive lab works to ensure you're a good candidate for cosmetic surgery and evaluate any underlying conditions like hypertension or diabetes that could impair healing. Surgery and post-operation aftercare. After the surgery, strictly follow the recovery timeline. This includes attending mandatory follow-up appointments for stitch removal and monitoring for complications like fluid buildup or infection. Well, on that note, we take a break, but when we come back, we will be talking to a plastic surgeon and we'll be delving more into what these processes are.
Wakati unalia katika hiyo aya, Mungu anasema qala rabbi lima hashatani ama, ewe Mola, mbona unanifufua mimi kipofu wakati kuntu basira. Na mimi nilikuwa na macho yangu nikiona kisawasawa. Mwanadamu anajitetea akisema ati alikuwa na macho yake ya kisawasawa ya ndani ya kuona ibada yake, ya kumuona Allah na utukufu wake. Amesahau kwamba yeye alikuwa ayaangalia mambo ya Allah kwa macho ya ndani. Alikuwa anaangalia hivi basi nionekane msikitini, nionekane nafanya hili la kheri, nafanya hili, lakini kiundani hakuna tasadaka. Pia watu watakuonekane katika TV.
Wewe kama Muislamu katika maisha yako, ikiwa humtaji Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, umemsahau Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basi bila shaka maisha yako yatakuwa ni maisha ya dhiki, utakuwa hauna raha.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all. We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters. It is very important to guard your relationship. And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done.
I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment.
Tukiwa na wewe mambo yako yenda kombo.
Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good morning, Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Kupata shule ya mtoto wako disabled si rahisi.
Integrated schools do more than just sharing a physical space. They build teamwork and create a sense of belonging.
We are looking at an education system that encompasses everything that this child on the spectrum requires.
When we open our school doors to everyone, we just don't change how children learn, but we break down the walls of social stigma and teach the next generation the power of inclusion.
We've been with our son for 10 years, and the best thing you can do is expose your child.
The Kenya we are building cannot afford to leave any child's potential on the margins.
Join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for staying with us. As cosmetic surgery continues to gain popularity in Kenya, experts are urging prospective patients to prioritize safety, research, and realistic expectations before undergoing any procedure. And to better understand what patients should consider before going under the knife, we spoke to a plastic surgeon.
There is a difference between cosmetic surgery and reconstructive surgery. So maybe you can make that clear for us so that people do not kind of use them interchangeably.
Reconstruction, we are talking about something like a birth defect, okay? Like an post-injury deformity, post-burns, we get people with contractures. All that, when you're correcting that, that is reconstruction. Then aesthetic is beauty. You come, you're not happy with your face, we make it okay. You're not happy with your body, we make it okay. Now that is aesthetic or beauty surgery.
So at what point would somebody actually come for cosmetic surgery? Because that's what we want to really focus on. I know, it's obvious when someone say, what kind of a question is that? Because definitely if somebody is not comfortable with how they look, whichever way they perceive themselves, that's the reason as to why somebody might come for cosmetic surgery. But I'm asking that question just to tie it in, especially with our overall health and especially our mental health. Probably you could actually tie those things. So how does cosmetic surgery and mental health issues, intertwine?
Cosmetic surgery is really wide. Whatever you think that is not good in your body, you can change it from head to toe. Like people would come for the facelift, for rhinoplasty, for the eye bags, for the double chins. Some have double arms, the hanging arm, they want it sorted out. Then we have the tummy. Our main issue is usually there's fat here, there's fat here. Which regions can you sort out? Then as you go down, you have now aware about it. Some want it big, some want it smaller. You come to the thigh, some want it big, some want it smaller. So it's all a spectrum of everything. Is actually from head to toe. Beauty can be defined in every different way. When somebody comes for a consult or somebody wants to talk to you, you really need to assess this person. I'll give you an example of two young people. One is a 21-year-old girl with a very, very small scar around the ear. But this girl can go to social events, she can come out of the house since she was 18 years old. Until her mother gets into it, says, now we need to do something. Why can't you do that? It's because of this scar, it's visible, everybody sees. So if you don't correct that scar for this girl, she'll stay indoors until she's 30 years. You see the mental health. There's a young man who has seen 3 psychiatrists because he's just not happy with his forehead. Young man, 25 years old. So until you could correct that, then He no longer sees the psychiatrist. He actually goes to the gym, says, now I want to lose the rest of the body. Because his main issue, he thought, I'm 25-year-old, I look like a 50-year-old man who's balding. So that is mental health.
And so if somebody comes and you've taken through the journey and they identified a certain part of their bodies and they're like, this is where I feel uncomfortable, I don't have confidence, it's affecting me mentally, and that is done. What's the likelihood of that recurring? And so how do you ensure that people do not obsess, if I may put it that way, with now plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery? Because it could just now create another cycle of problems.
That's a really important question. And we fight with it for a long time because every individual is different. When they come for a consult, there are people I know I need to do now as a psychological consultation next. I don't go to surgery, I don't go for preparation. There are people who come and I know, this one will go straight away and do an operation. So we need to filter that one first of all out. Like this young man I talked to, once I did the forehead, we went through, I told him, now you're good. I don't even want to see you to see any doctor for the next 6 months. Can you do that? He promised me no. And he actually called me and told me, why was I seeing the doctors? That's what he asked me. Because that was a window. Once you correct the first thing, the funny thing is you must correct the first thing that is making them do that. Then that opens for you a window to enter into their life and now guide them to the right way. I agree with you, it can be something like addictive. You don't want, sometimes they tell them it's not really the money. I want you as you yourself to be whoever you want to be. That's why one red flag is when a patient comes to you with a photo. I want to look like this person. That's a very red flag that you need to pick it and say, this now needs psychological first of all, before you go to the surgical part of it.
So there have been concerns, in the health sector, but even among Kenyans, we've had people die when they go for these kind of surgeries. What would you want to tell Kenyans in terms of even just building that trust? Because to a certain level right now, people have kind of lost confidence with cosmetic surgeries.
Invest in the best. If it's anesthesia, invest in the best. If monitoring, invest in it. If it is infrastructure, invest in best, number one. Number two is the brains behind it. Who is doing it? What is the qualification? That is so important. I keep telling everybody like that. You must know who is doing like that. I am not a gynecologist, but you must raise a flag if you see me trying to deliver babies, you see? Yeah, you must raise that flag. That, no, I don't think this is your training. So those are the things, first of all, about safety. Number one, where are you doing it? Number two, who is doing it? The third person now is you, the client. Were you fit for this surgery in the beginning? Not everybody is fit for surgery. You must know that. For example, people don't understand, like one of the cases that was going around, maybe somebody perforated the intestine of somebody. Maybe they just overlooked one thing. Before we go and do, let's say, liposuction, we need to do an ultrasound. Look at the tummy. Is there anything on the surface? If there's something on the surface, correct it before the cosmetic surgery. So a few of those things. And lastly, there's no beauty, bei ya jioni. I call it bei ya jioni. If you see somebody offering you bei ya jioni for beauty, that is a red flag. You must hold it like this. Because this is something that, it was not an emergency. It is something to enhance your body. But I can, come, I will do your tummy tuck. It's only 120,000. That's a very big red flag. You must know why. Why is he offering me that?
So if I come for liposuction, for that matter, or somebody who does liposuction, and that is the fat removal, and I want to believe that is the midsection, around the tummy and all that. Is that permanent? So can I now go back to my normal eating, not really care about my nutrition, or how permanent is liposuction?
The misconception is that liposuction is a weight-losing procedure. It is not. Liposuction is a shaping procedure. We want to shape you. you must do something else about your weight. So even if you came and I removed the fat, your diet is still poor, your lifestyle is still poor, you'll still reaccumulate the fat again. That one would have gone. The one I've removed it will go. But even if I left 10 pieces of fat, they will grow to occupy the whole of the space that is remaining. So, as I said, it must be a journey. First of all, during consultation, you must go with the journey. Are you ready for this? You're not ready for this, we'll offer it. And I hope Dr. is going to talk about, we have a balloon to put in to help us lose weight first of all, before you go now for this. So once you come for the liposuction, we've removed the fat. Now you can have maybe excess skin. How do you take care of the excess skin? We give you a pressure garment, we do a massage, you do this. It's a journey.
So we've also seen a lot of acid attacks in the country. I do not know why it's becoming like a common thing right now, but those are the people who would actually be candidates for reconstructive surgeries and all that. How possible is it for someone who has had an acid attack to have, whichever part of the body that has been, affected, reconstructed and come back, if not completely, but at least to a certain level, become normal?
Acid attack as a plastic surgeon is one of the most difficult, very, very difficult. Let's say just chemical attacks. Some will be acids, some will be alkali, some will be just other chemicals. Chemical attacks are really difficult to treat. Why? Because they have one thing. They penetrate the skin and go into the deeper layer, and they keep causing that problem. Suppose it had burnt the skin. The upper layer is called the epidermis. The inner layer is the dermis. It keeps going in and burning that. So, and the correction of the skin on top is dependent also on what is underneath. So sometimes it's very, very difficult. The reconstruction is very, very difficult, and it's very staged. I'm a part of what you call the International Society of Burn Injuries. And when I go for a session of chemical attacks in burns caused by chemical, this is one thing even the first world has not really solved properly about the reconstruction. What we try to do is, first of all, get the functions right. If it's an acid attack on the face and the eyes cannot close, we try and make them close. If it is affecting a mouth, the mouth is whatever we try. Mainly the function first before the beauty. But the beauty is difficult and it takes long.
How does Kenya compare then to other parts of the world? It looks like cosmetic surgery has become, people might think like it's a new thing in Kenya, but maybe you will tell us whether it's a new thing. But how does Kenya compare to other countries when it comes to technology and all that?
The thing is, I love to travel, I love to see new things. And when I see people doing all these different things everywhere, I'm like, why not Kenya? Kwani, why are we so shallow that we cannot have the access to the same technology? So keeping that in mind, we have brought in the first smart lipo into Kenya. So smart lipo is a laser-assisted liposuction system. So what we do is we go underneath the skin, and then we melt the fat, and then we suck it out, and then the laser tightens the skin at the same time. We also have lasers that can help with chemical scars and burns as well, and we can combine plastic surgery with laser surgery to get more enhanced and improved results. The other thing that we have is a treatment called Lipo AI, where we use artificial intelligence and a laser to gauge the depth at which the liposuction is being done, so that we are more accurate and precise with less complications and less blood loss.
So there you have it. Cosmetic surgery has become popular. It's no longer a taboo. And if you're thinking about getting one, so now you know what procedures you're supposed to follow. And on that note, we bring health and lifestyle to a close today. Thank you as always for your time and your company. My name is Mariambo, and on behalf of everyone who made this program possible, of course our camera person Jen Kibera, and Maura for sharing her journey with breast augmentation. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again next time.
Kwa nini ulipotea kazi ya polisi huko unazunguka nyumba za watu ukiwauliza maswali?
Nini inaendelea kati yako, Sam, Yasin, Biko na Marvin?
Ni wana biashara
Unajua nini kuhusu mzigo ya Yasin yenye ilipotea?
Mzigo gani?
Mlikuwa watu wawili tu, lakini mlikuwa mnajua location ya hiyo mzigo Mark.
Sasa unajaribu kusema nini Tutakujiwa hadi wenye manzee Marvin ajui kuhusu.
How about you give me more responsibilities now that we are working together in bold?
I was thinking we slow things down.
He's out. Come on, run, hurry.
Li Xuanyuan! Li Xuanyuan!
He's not Li Xuanyuan. Let's go.
Li Xuanyuan! I'm your spirit host.
I told you, it's not Li Xuanyuan anymore.
Then who else could he be? Li Xuanyuan, are you really gonna hurt me? I'm telling you, I'm not afraid of you one bit. Ah!
Kupata shule ya mtoto wako disabled si rahisi.
Integrated schools do more than just sharing a physical space. They build teamwork and create a sense of belonging.
We are looking at an education system that encompasses everything that this child on the spectrum requires.
When we open our school doors to everyone, we just don't change how children learn, but we break down the walls of social stigma and teach the next generation the power of inclusion.
We've been with our son for 10 years, and the best thing you can do is expose your child.
The Kenya we are building cannot afford to leave any child's potential on the margins.
Join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Situated in the heart of Johannesburg, this museum offers a thought-provoking and educational experience. It serves to remind us of the segregation and discrimination under the apartheid regime. Welcome to the Apartheid Museum. Within these walls are unique exhibitions that illustrate the rise and fall of apartheid. We then hear the soothing sounds of Dela Dube, a spoken word artist living in Rwanda.
Power flows through my veins. Power.
My name is Pamela Mtanga, and you're watching AfriMax. Before we talk to Vinolia Hlongwane about the atrocities of apartheid, we shine a light on the Soweto Choir. I could tell you all about the choir, but you have to experience it yourself. Check this out. The sounds and stories of South Africa. The Soweto Choir wants to bring them into the world and unite people through music wherever they come from.
Music means sharing, peace. It's a method of therapy that I believe works wonders because it has no boundaries.
Coming from a family of choir members and masters, Soweto raised in the university, an Emmy Award winner and the musical director of the Soweto Choir, which has a diverse repertoire that includes a variety of gospel, spiritual, and traditional African songs.
It is important for me to share music with people because we are able to connect, we are able to express ourselves, our feelings. I'm driven by a calling to serve, because as musicians, as artists, we have a responsibility to actually take a lead in raising issues. In most cases, I raise those on stage through singing, and that's what I believe, that we as people, we need to share experiences in order to grow together.
When they're not on tour, the ensemble meets in Jimmy's parents' garage for rehearsal.
Our choir members are from Soweto. Some were born in other villages around the country, but they live here in Soweto. The choir is their only source of income. And most of them are educated, but it's hard to get jobs. So we try by all means to, come together and create some kind of work for all of us.
Jimmy started singing at the age of 8 in the choir founded by his grandmother that would later become known worldwide as the Soweto Gospel Choir. To branch out from gospel music further on in his career, Jimmy started the Soweto Choir.
In Soweto, there's a big musical culture. We learn music from our homes and it stays. So it's something that is within us. And when you're around in Soweto, if you're going to work, you'll find yourself singing in the bus or singing in the train. It's even difficult to differentiate between a funeral and a wedding, because the energy is huge. It's a cultural thing. It's just within us. And you always have this drive to go out and share.
Music unites us as a group because we come from different cultural background. So in everything that we do, there's an infusion of all the cultures coming together. So in an essence, it's a cultural exchange.
We have performed in many countries. We've been to Canada, to Australia, we've been to the UK, we've been to most parts of Europe. The list is just endless. We incorporate a lot of African storytelling through music, stories that come from ages ago. We run workshops around the world with schools and all that, and we use music to tell those stories. I believe it's good because we believe that our stories need to be told all around, and through music it becomes much easier for people to actually get interested.
People all over the world can actually feel what we are doing here, even though they are not here, because of the forces of gravity that we are all attached to.
Jimmy has 16 members in his choir, each bringing their own bit of magic to the music.
Well, we're like family. There's so much unity. We are a very, very close group of people. And it helps a lot when we are performing, and also when we have problems, because we are human. Sometimes there'll be differences, but they're easy to be sorted out because there's this bond that we share. It feels good to see the choir performing outside the country, because it's not only just about singing, but it's also about learning about how the world operates, about other cultures. It opens up the mind. We learn a lot that we come back of our families and our communities. So there's a lot of cultural sharing. That's how we grow as human, because we are all citizens of the world and we need to learn from each other.
The Apartheid Museum showcases the country's history of segregation and discrimination under the apartheid regime. It offers a powerful and poignant reminder of the struggles and triumph of the South African people. I'm joined by the museum manager, Venolia Hlongwane. Venolia, thank you for making time for us. Now, this museum is known as the Preeminent Museum. Could you please elaborate on what that means?
The Apartheid Museum was opened in 2001, and it's known and acknowledged as the Preeminent Museum for the reason that we are dealing with the 20th century of history of South Africa. So we're at the heart of South African history.
What specific moments and events in South African history are covered in the exhibits?
The Apartheid Museum takes you on a journey the way we focus from the history of the 1886, where you will see people from different age groups and races that journeyed through to Johannesburg on following the discovery of gold. Then we go into the apartheid era where from 1948 to 1995. And we focus on 1960 as well, where the National Party then started to set laws to segregate people based on their races. We also showcase the Soweto uprising of 1976, the Sharpeville massacre as well. That's what we focus on. So a walk through the museum would illustrate all those events, all the moments in South Africa that we went through.
Tell us a bit more about the interactive elements that are featured here.
In the exhibits, we've got your films, your photographs, we've got your artifacts, and that is the interactive features that we have to give our visitors. Soon to come is our voice map that our people will be able to use as well.
You know what? There's so much wealth of knowledge, and I cannot wait to learn more about it. The spoken word is gaining traction in Rwanda and the rest of the world. Join us as we meet Dela Dube, a young woman who is using her voice to address critical issues.
Dela Dube's words matter. They're addressing critical social issues, challenging stereotypes and redefining long-accepted norms.
I am the frantic upsurge of metallic energy. Charge my kinetics in pure symmetry, and that's a definitive decision. I'll be remembered through poetry, prose and verse for my ice-cold precision, outlandish mentality and celestial body. Power flows through my veins. Power.
Dela is a young, creative spoken word artist who uses the power of words and performance to tell stories and talk about the human condition while encouraging people to use their voice to be known and heard.
Dela Dube was born and raised in Gaborone, Botswana. That is where I learned a lot about African culture and African history. I spent a lot of time performing as a kid with my siblings. We absolutely loved being on stage, and we would do it at church, we'd do it at school, we'd do it anywhere we had the chance to just share our voices and our talents, and we had an absolute blast. Music runs through my veins, so it was always easy. And spoken word is, I believe, language of the conscious. So bringing all these different art forms together really helps me achieve what I want to creatively, and it lets me expand the breadth and depth of my message. Fed by the wind, and now our voices will. We are airborne, so far the road, choked on the dust, drowned in the flood. We lost our mothers and sons to crime and war. I am airborne, suspended between the earth and the sky, cause death couldn't take me, couldn't swallow me, couldn't taste me. And face to face with who we truly are. Voices we only transcribe in the dark, alone, insatiable, riddled with folly akin to the unholy hour. Staggering, plummeting feet are drawn to the reflective deep in search of a new religion. For we'd rather go blind than shriveled and dry. Sanity is a meager price to pay. So we say, at the rapture of the celestial sphere, take my flesh to a body of liquid crystals that gleam at the sight of the golden sun, that I may succumb to a spiritual fit, stirred by Oshun, now a raging ocean, rattles the stability of solitary love and you. So at the rapture of the celestial sphere,
Take my flesh to a body of liquid crystals that gleam at the sight of the golden sun. I really enjoy expressing myself through different art forms. I have a talent for spoken word poetry, music, theater, drama, and creative directing as well. So what I do is when I'm thinking about a piece or thinking about a creative piece, I really think about what would bring the subject matter out in the best way. Who am I trying to communicate with? And theater, I'll speak about that a bit, has really been a great way for me to become a child again. Because through theater, on stage, you wear a persona, and the onus is on you to completely explore what that character is. Some of my role models include Yara Shahidi. She recently graduated from Harvard, and I think that's amazing. She's a full-time actress, but also killed it at school. That's something that I draw inspiration from. Musically, people like Nina Simone, Lauryn Hill have strong lyrical prowess and strong characters as well. So women like these really inspire me to be more than ordinary and to make serious impact.
Who were you before crossing the Ulele, Limpopo, or the blue and white Nile?
Creating creative spaces for artists, upcoming artists, children as well, to be expressive enough and to be daring to speak about the things that really matter. I'm really passionate about advocating for children in the art space because there isn't enough emphasis on protecting these young minds. I also like to organize some music jams for people to come through and collaborate and create. That's how I contribute, and I hope to do more in the future.
Shoot my shot from a mile away. Sniper.
A few years ago, I'd have believed that there's no choice that I'm making. I'd have believed that it's something I was born to do. But I think over the years, choosing to be more intentional about the messages that I put out there has made me go further. You know, my words and my messages are really what helps me get into doors that I probably wouldn't have been qualified for. But because I'm using my voice to make a change, you'd be surprised how many people need to hear that or need that reminder of how amazing they are. And also just raising awareness on issues that we often sideline. So my poetry, my voice, my music has always been a gateway to bigger platforms, reaching new audiences and making a change as a whole.
Stay with me, you ain't gotta word it down. I know that you try so hard.
The wait is over. KBC iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service. Did you know that you can purchase a last expense insurance for you and your loved ones? Consider purchasing this insurance policy to avoid unnecessary stress and fundraising when you lose a loved one. The policy covers funeral-related expenses, thus easing the burden of losing a loved one. Now you know. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.